Welcome to the GameChanger 00100 show. I'm your host, GameChanger, and we have a special guest today, Mr. Bernard Riley. How you doing today?
Hey, what's up, man? What's going on?
Nothing much, nothing much. And I want to start off with a slight apology. A slight apology. I did something unconsciously, and I didn't mean to do it. By mistake, I just
I
called
already
you
see it. I already see it.
Mr. Bernard Riley. Yeah, you see that. And I didn't
No.
mean.
It was worse than that.
Oh, what
You
happened?
got my name spelled Rayleigh.
Oh, okay.
I thought that was it.
Let me change that. So wait, I don't think I did that. No, I didn't do that. I had a manager do that. Hold on. Let me go to the thing and change that right now. So yeah, no wonder he didn't get the notification if your name is spelled wrong. It didn't tag you right.
Now that Mr. Spelled out like that, covering the color purple thing. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, that's ironic. That was not my intention. I wasn't trying to it was no pun intended.
You sure that wasn't on purpose? You absolutely sure
not
you
on
didn't
purpose. The thought of it didn't really hit me until I just said Mr. Bernard Riley. But it's one of those things to where some names is just tainted. Like, I mean, who want to be a white woman named Karen right now? Like, if you just so happen to look like a Karen and you're middle aged and stuff, like, do you really want that as a name right now? Like, do you really want to be a black woman named Keisha right now? Like, sometimes you just get like that unfortunate name.
It's like it's somewhere where you could actually look it up to see how many I don't know, Jonathans were born in the year of 2001 and so forth and so on.
Oh, really?
I bet when you look up how many Karens were born in the year of 2022, that's damn near down to zero.
Yeah, it drastically reduced. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like black dudes named Thomas. I'm pretty sure that, once people started saying words like uncle, let's say Thomas, once they started doing that, then, I'm pretty sure brothers just stopped naming their sons Tom, just in case he became somebody's uncle one day.
Yeah, or it would be viewed as a unemployed dude who ain't got no job, man.
Wait, no, Thomas is the Uncle Thomas.
I know. I was making a Martin reference with Tommy.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah, you ain't get me. My jokes ain't working. We good though. We good.
Okay, let me go ahead and change that name, and then we'll get started. But yeah, my bad on that. Let me take care of that. For whatever reason, it don't let you go to your own channel without going to the studio. Like, you can't bring up your own. You can't bring up your own live unless you first go to the studio. That's weird to me. But here we go. Wait a minute. It says, oh, part one, Mr. And then no, it's featuring.
Yeah, so it look right. It look right now.
Oh, okay. You had me tripping. So we did that for nothing. All right. So welcome everybody. All right, let's get started. Now, I'm gonna do a series on the color purple. And that's because they have this movie coming out, and I want everybody to boycott it, to be perfectly frank. I want people to boycott this movie. This movie is like the Bible of Black women effery. It's what they use to justify all acts of defiance and ill cooperation with Black men and the Black family structure in modern times. And they've been using it for going on 40 years. Next year, in 2025 will be 40 years. And now they're just trying to renew it. They're trying to make a New Testament. They're trying to reappeal to a new generation and instill trauma into a new generation that didn't really happen to them. But we're going to get into the details of what they're doing, why you shouldn't watch it. And this is the first of the series. Next, we're going to cover some of the other characters with other one-on-ones with people. So hit that like button and let's get started. All right. So here. All right. So first off, and this is why I think Mr. is misunderstood. I don't know if we talked about this behind the scenes before or anything, but I don't think too many people know this part right here, because they gloss over it in the movies. And even if you heard the movie 100 times, you probably didn't hear what the narrator was saying about Mister in his introduction, which is why I put the closed captions on. I didn't type this in. I put the closed caption on and I played this part. And this is the part where he's creepily looking at Netty. You know, you got the awkward smile, and he's looking at her. But she said his wife dead. She was deleted by her boyfriend coming home from church.
Mm.
So did you ever get that part, Bernard?
No, that is we talked about this. I don't know if it was off the air or if it was on the air, or if it was it may have been on my show. I'm not 100% sure, but I do know that it was eye-opening when you pointed this out to me, that, and even when I read the sentence, it still doesn't hit, but his wife was deleted by her boyfriend. Like, what in the insert I mean, I was
Yeah.
about to name Adam 22 or whatever.
No, like Robin from Batman, like holy rusted metal, like what in the exactly,
Whoever
like
the cuck of the day is. I was about to name somebody, but I couldn't think or nobody. But yeah,
uh-huh.
it's like, what the heck is going on?
And it's amazing how smoothly they glossed over it. And I'm pretty sure millions of B-dubs have watched it and didn't even like hear that, because I didn't hear it like the first 75 times I watched it, but I'm like, wait a minute, wait, what? Just one of those things that caught my ear one time, like wait, what? And of course when you put the captions on, you could see it, but when she said it so quick and so nonchalantly, like, his wife is no longer with us. She was deleted by her boyfriend coming home from church. Like, wait. So it's a real stop. It's a real head scratcher. Now, why do you think what's her name? Alice Walker put this in about his character? Or about his history or whatnot?
I don't know why she would. I mean, it opens my eyes up. It makes me want to know some backstory. Like, we need a Mr. We need a prequel, a Mr.
Exactly.
Centered prequel of The Color Purple that really follows his origin story that led him up to you know up to his dealings with Cely, because
What
it
led him
puts
to
it
that
on.
first slap?
Okay, I didn't want to be the first one to take it there, but yes, we need to know what led him to that first slap. But and so let's just think about that. If his wife had a boyfriend, that means he probably was just viewed as the village idiot, the town cuck, this woman just running around on him, to the point to where she not just sneaking and cheating on him. She got a full-blown man. And whenever a man deletes a woman, he likely was in love with her. So she got a full-blown relationship. Like, his kids probably wasn't his. Like, all those kids that Cely
Oh
came
crap!
over
I didn't
there,
even
and
think that part too.
yeah,
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 Harpo
yeah.
might not even be his, and Harpo
It,
is like small.
yeah, yeah. All those kids, Cely, and their braiding their hair, those were somebody else's kids.
Oh
And
crap!
he left there taking care of them. Like, this man needs a prequel.
Oh yes, he does. And also the fact that the boyfriend deleted her. I'm pretty sure that kind of had to, like, okay, these women seem to only respect dudes that is about that life.
Mm.
They only get down with the delete crew.
Mm-hmm.
You got to control alt. You got to be ready to control alt delete,
Yeah.
so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So it seemed like he's like, okay, the next one, I'm gonna give them what they want.
Yeah.
So just food for thought. Just food for thought. And I'm glad that this is his introduction, because I want the audience to know that this is going to be a different take on Mister. It's not going to be like the surface level, he's just a bad guy because, he's a bad guy. I don't like people like that. And what I mean, like, I don't like villains like that. I don't like I like the Joker because he's funny, but I don't like villains that are just villains for villain's sake, like Lex Luthor or somebody like that. Like I like Magneto. I like people who like, no, there's a reason behind my madness.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I like Kane the Conqueror, F you Marvel. But I like villains with reasons.
they they're gonna replace him with I don't know, they're gonna replace him with like Kerry Washington. They're gonna play.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. It's gonna be another, you know, Lupita Nyong'o, you know, super villain. That's yeah.
Yeah, well, let me put that question that you asked me because I honestly can't think. But when you said why would Alice Walker put that in there that Mister's first wife before the movie started was deleted, excuse me, was deleted by her boyfriend? What would be the logic behind her doing that? Because it seems like she would write him to just be a mean man because he's a man and men are mean and he's just a big bad man.
He's the wolf, yeah. He's the,
Yeah.
you know, huff and puff and blow your house down. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think her logic was behind that decision to write that backstory in there for him like that?
I think that that she wanted to write him as weak. Because remember, this is written for women, black women in particular, but women in general. And just like we could kind of sympathize with this guy a little bit, we could sympathize with him. They can't. They look at something like this as complete disrespect and as, you know, license to disrespect this guy. So right off the bat, they're just gonna like start off with he's a loser and he's staring at a, you know, underage girl.
Oh, that
So
makes sense.
we're taking it like, hey, wait a minute, you know.
They don't okay, you go into something. Like her goal was probably not to just present him as some bad boy that women like. No, he's a you know weak, you know, punk type of dude that they don't respect.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
his last woman was cheating on him, and now he about to try to. This weak man has to go try to find the weakest, the most vulnerable and weakest of women. So that's the only way he could feel like a man. That was
Exactly.
that was her logic. That was her logic. Yeah.
Exactly. And I like how you put the bad boy appeal in there because, you know, then it'll have like a different dynamic. Like, yeah, because there's movies
Mm.
out there where, you know, like there's this one movie, and when I go to Latin American countries, they love this movie. They swear by it. You know, if you ever want to Netflix and chill, this is the movie. It's called 365 Days. If you ever want to Netflix and chill in Latin America, I should say. It's called 365 Days. It's on Netflix. Yeah, of course. But essentially, this dude kidnapped the chick for a year, and then she fell in love with him. I'm like, hey, he's a kidnapper. But so, you know, the woman can fall in love with the villain, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it did seem like Alice Walker seen that coming. It's like, oh no, I'm gonna make sure that you don't like this dude, that he's a loser, that's looking for the weakest target, like he said.
Mm.
So that
Interesting.
was her intention, but this does, and also they see no fault in the you know, I don't know what you call it. I was gonna say ex-wife, and I was gonna say widow, but the departed wife, let's call it that. They can't really register that, you know, hey, she was a bad person.
Yeah, they do a lot of writing like that, and a part of me do want to say, well, maybe they're just writing complex characters, but at the same time, I think they just legitimately just don't be seeing no wrong in women. Like a red pill rewatching of Waiting to Exhale, which you've done plenty of times,
Mhm.
reveals that no, these women were worse than the men that they made a movie to bash, but they were able to just get away with that because you know the women could do no wrong. And
Exactly.
so they wrote characters. I mean, right now they could try to spin it like no, they were just being good writers and not writing one track characters, but no, they didn't think nothing was wrong at all with Angela Bassett after complaining how some you know white woman you know was messing with her wealthy husband, And then the first thing she did after she left him and burned his stuff is went and messed with some married wealthy man. They didn't, it didn't register to them that, oh, she's no different than, she's the white girl in this situation. It didn't register. It didn't register at all.
A quick side note on that. When she was complaining and, preparing to burn his stuff, she said something like, 161 times, 161 times we had sex. And I'm like, why would the author write that? They've been together for 11 years. That's not much if spread out for 11 years, not to mention the time that they were dating. That's not much at all. It kind of explains the cheating.
Yeah.
Like, why would she write that particular number? It was strange. If you wanted to make it seem like she was the perfect wife.
Like, even the once a week, that in some studies they say that's how much married couples actually have sex, once a week. That sounds extremely low, but they're significantly beneath the once a week. That already seems extremely low.
Well, yeah, I mean, 52 times a year times 3 years, and you already,
exactly,
almost there. So they probably went at it once a week and then stopped after three years and a couple of months.
Yeah.
But and she's wondering, like, hey, how could you do this to me? So it's weird. But yeah, I want to break apart a lot of these female writers, because that's where, fellas, if you ever are dealing with modern Black women and you sense like this hate-love thing and you don't know why it's there, this is why, because they consume stuff like this. So moving to the next one. All right, so want to point this out. This is Mr. on trail in the snow to Netty's house.
Mm-hmm.
And he's about to ask Netty's father for Netty's hand in marriage. I want you to pay close attention to the cow there. And notice how Mr. is cowless. He don't have a cow. Shout out to Bart Simpson. He don't have a cow.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to the place. Now, so he goes, he says, I want to marry you, Netty. Said Netty's too young. And I tell you what I do, you could have Cely. Right off the bat, he just introduced her as ugly, barren, and you could do what you want and don't have to worry about feeding and clothing it. Now let's stop right there for a second. Mr. is a farmer, and it's not like us who are raised in the city. It's not like you and I who are raised in the city. You want to have as many kids as possible when you own a large plot of land. And that's because they work that land. The reason why we have summer vacations is so the children can work the land with you. So, and that's just a tradition that's been passed on. We really don't need it, but America's, adverse to change. So, but yeah, he would normally want kids. If he had gotten Netty, I'm pretty sure several kids would have came out, preferably boys, and they would be working the land just like Harpo was, and he would make more money as a result of this. That's the way things worked. So, but he took this barren girl who the father called ugly. Why do you think he took that deal? It seemed like a very, very, very bad deal.
I know why, because we actually you pointed this one out to me before too. So
okay. I actually don't remember what I said, so I hope it was wise. Yeah, go for it.
Oh no, it was he didn't go over there and do like what they used to do when they used to buy the bride, so to speak. He basically he was paid to take her, in other words.
Oh, I was good. That's the next slide. Hold that. That's the next slide.
Okay, damn it.
Okay. No. We could talk on the first part though about he didn't buy her because it did seem like he had every intention to buy Netty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He had every intention to buy Netty, and he is a guy with money. You know, they show scenes later where he just has like, stashes of money in the hen house or whatever for whatever reason. You know, he's that dude, and it makes sense if you are a large landowner in Georgia of the time, and you're black. I mean, relatively speaking, I mean, what are they like? Two generations out of slavery, and they own this huge plot of land.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that part too. That he owned a lot of land, or maybe, I mean, you could kind of see it in the movie, but he owned all that land. Like, you step back in the wide shot of the movie and see how much land he owned, plus the juke joint,
Mhm.
all the way down there. Yeah, to own all of that, yeah, he had money. But you raise a good question, or you point out something, important, that again people overlook, that she was literally worthless. If she couldn't have kids and he got a farm,
A
and one of
huge
the
plot of
goals,
land that he need
yeah,
people. Yeah, the more, I mean, he has enough land to where 10 kids can, work it. 10 boys can work it.
yeah, yeah. And so, yeah, that really, that set her up as, it wasn't just she was unattractive
Right.
facially or nothing like that. No, it was, she literally didn't bring any value. Like, if he didn't already have those kids, she would have been, I mean, I'm okay, I'm just bare bones, just down to the bare minimum. I mean, I guess a hole that, a warm-ish hole, but
That
that they
cleans
set
and
her up.
cooks. That cleans and cooks.
Yeah, I mean, but they set her up like that to where she wasn't just unattractive. Her value as a woman, or the thing that society would see her value as a woman in. I'm just thinking about how Alice Walker probably wrote it. The thing that society would view her in terms of her value as a woman, that
Mhm,
was gone. And she black and nappy
mhm.
headed and unattractive. So it basically, like, yeah, they wrote her ugly, and they made her as low value as possible. So yeah.
Right. Right. So yeah, that is an interesting thing that he took the deal regardless, especially considering that the father, Cely and Netty's father, married a woman who was that is the same age, that's fertile. It's like, why didn't he just go to that other girl's father? So it's not really making sense, this decision, but this helps a little bit, but still not much. This scene right here. So remember this cow?
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, instead of for buying Nettie, he got Cely for free and a free cow.
No, he didn't get her for free. He was paid to take her. Like, that's a
Yeah, he
different
was paid
deal.
to take her. Yeah.
That's a different deal.
Like, if you take this Baroness and you get a free cow, and the good news is the cow isn't barren. I guess that's how it was sold to him.
Them some weird negotiations. If you go try to buy one of the daughters, you can't buy her, but you can buy this one. I ain't gonna buy her. I don't want her. Okay, just take her for free. Nah, nah, I'm good. I'm good. Okay, I give you a cow. I give you a cow. It's like that. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Like, you like milk, don't you? Like, what? How did that happen?
yeah.
And Alice Walker took the time to put the cow in there. And of course, she's walking the cow. She's not even allowed to ride on the back of the horse. She's walking the cow with Mister. Like, it's while he's on the horse, holding her own luggage. That's because he didn't want to weigh his horse down. That so right then and there they tried to like, okay, this guy is a jerk. I don't think he would have did that with Nettie.
No.
I truly don't. This was a uniquely Cely thing. Cely thing. This was a uniquely Cely thing, and he did it because I can't explain why he did it. I really can't. I don't think the writer could. I don't think Alice Walker could either. Okay, so next scene. Next scene, she is combing a nappy hair, and I mean nappy. But those of you who, like me, grew up in the 80s, remember the hot comb days. Um, I know this is about, like 80 years prior to the 80s, but it was still the same thing. Grandma put the hot comb on the stove. It's just that it's a gas stove now, or then, and your sister or cousin was sitting there with her hair just out in afro, and you know she get the hot comb. So Cely was going through a similar procedure with his daughter, who hadn't had her hair combed since the first wife passed away.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it is interesting, and that it's clear the gender roles in this. And that's something that Mr. is, an advocate of. He's like, listen, I understand that certain things are for women, other things are for men. I The moment my first wife was gone, I didn't attempt to clean up the house or comb the daughter's hair. I understand that that's not my wheelhouse. That's not my field of expertise.
Mm-hmm.
So, but once she got there, he's like, okay, these are some of the things that need to be done. We're in arrears, but them naps been there for quite some time. And the little girl was hurt. And, he said, shut her up. And she said, I can't, it hurt her. And then that is when the first smack came. Now, this is one of three smacks that he likes to use. This one is the one where he raises his right hand, and then he uses it to rotate inward. So it's a front hand. It's a right front hand from the upper flex to the face. So that was the first slap that he did. And it was not because he wanted her to shut up, but it was because because she was talking back. And I think that he felt that that was a microaggression, like that was the first step to her leaving again and leaving him humiliated again. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, this was. Uh, this brings me right at the moment where I jokingly but very seriously say Mister needs a prequel.
Yes.
Because for people that wasn't didn't catch the very beginning, and you probably need to change us to where we're blocking the
Oh yeah.
word right now. For people who missed the very beginning, GameChanger very wisely pointed out something that you've heard if you've seen this movie. His wife's this is him. This is when he was first looking at Netty, and it says his wife's dead. She was deleted by her boyfriend coming home from church. Why does his wife have a boyfriend? Why
Yes.
was Mister, who's right now going down in history, as the king of movie woman beaters? His wife had a boyfriend, like Mister was letting that ride. Yeah, his wife was cheating on him to the point
Yeah.
to where her boyfriend was. Well, they had to be in love if he deleted her. When men take out a woman they like that, they're typically in love. So she was cheating that much. Like those kids probably wasn't his. Like the whole works. Like Mister needs a prequel. And so clearly, prior to all of this, he was a weak man whose wife was running around cheating on him. And ever since his wife left, he's been living. You saw the condition of the house, you saw the condition of the kids, you saw how everything was looking. Now this woman just came in there, and that was the first moment where she defied him. Now, given what he just went through with his last wife, when she did that, it makes you look at that differently, because he's probably thinking this is where it all starts. This
Exactly.
I let her defy me right now, or in the words of, I don't think we've been cussing, but I was about to quote you. You give her an inch, she cut off your whole
Penis.
penis. Yeah, I could use your other
Yeah.
penis. Yeah, you give her an inch, you cut off your whole penis, and it makes you look at this through that light, given what he been through. That's why I say Mister needs a prequel, because given what he been through, he probably felt like, apparently in this world, this is what you have to do. all the men that he's probably seen who wasn't afraid of a backhand, front hand smack, they wives wasn't out cheating on them.
True.
They wives didn't have boyfriends. That
True.
I and clearly it was some early disrespect early in the marriage that I let ride and get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger to the point that she had a full-blown boyfriend and these kids might not be mine. He probably was thinking, I have to nip this in the bud. I don't want to do it, but I have to.
Exactly. Because once again, he left. Like, he had a look of regret, but he left. So it wasn't a matter of the girl screaming, because he's leaving anyway. He's not going to hear the screaming. It's like, no, I have to do this now. And I hate to say it, I hate to sound like that dude, but she didn't cheat. Yeah, I know that sounds horrible. It sounds terrible.
Hey, no, you was the first one that pointed out to me. Like you got your finger on the pulse of these damn movies, man. Like, you the first one pointed out. Well, shit, was that you? I don't know if that was you or if I said that, because we talked about this before, so I'll be forgetting who said what. But for all intents and purposes, you can call her ugly, call her what you want. Cely was a submissive, dutiful wife. Just put somebody else's face on her. She's the wife you want. I mean, it's like she was there. She did her.
Somebody else's womb. Yeah.
The new face, new womb. She was a submissive wife. Yeah. So it's like now I forgot what point I was building towards with that. But
you think that there may be a correlation?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He see, I don't like to be that guy either, because you don't
want to say it out loud, but you can't help but notice the correlation. Like, two women, one smacked, one unsmacked. I mean, you don't want to.
Well, put it like that. I know. I won't say that, because I don't believe that, and I draw a hard line when it comes to to hitting on women. I don't hit on women, but looking at it from a character perspective, I see the internal logic of the character, given what he went through with his last wife, who had a boyfriend. This new wife come on the scene.
Unsmacked wife. Let's call her that.
The unsmacked one, and then now the smacked one behaved herself throughout the whole marriage until the very until she reached the breaking point at the end.
Right.
It from a character perspective, just analyzing the character, taking myself out of it, just analyzing the character, it does make you see that there's some depth and internal logic in his actions and behaviors. So there's that,
Right, exactly. And it's weird that Alice Walker didn't. I don't know what she was thinking when she made that deliberate correlation. Like, it's like, you kind of like advertising the pimp hand.
Yeah, and I like how you talked about the varying techniques of slapping that he had. Now that was funny how
very. Well, no, because there's a difference between a slap and a smack, and we'll get into that. But and he's better at it than Danny Glover, who I met in real life. I shook his hand in '96. Fun fact about Danny Glover. Danny Glover is, in real life, he looks a lot older. And this was in '96. So this was like 25, 27 years ago. And I'm going to be very honest. I'm happy he's alive. He looked really, really old that day.
Yeah, he was the old guy in Lethal Weapon, and I'm sure him and Mel Gibson the same age.
Yeah, well, he was? You think they are?
I bet.
Well, no, like Lethal Weapon was like the 80s or the early 90s, and he was like, I'm too old for this stuff. And he's the one with the 6-shooter and stuff. So he's like Morgan Freeman and to a
Yeah.
lesser extent Samuel L. Jackson. Like you never really seen them young, and they're still alive. Shout out to James Earl Jones. Like it gives me hope that I'm gonna live long. I'm gonna be honest. To see these black men gives me hope that I'm gonna live long. And then something
Yeah.
happened to George Jefferson, and then I'm like, oh crap. But yeah, just saying. But no, I met him a long time ago, and he got this part down. He got the smacks down a lot better than Lawrence Fishburne when he was smacking Angela Bassett. Like he's a good smacker.
Mm-hmm. And I just looked it up. There's a 10-year age difference right now. Danny Glover is 77. Mel Gibson is 67. But if they was the same age, that would have been funny.
He's only 77.
Yeah, he's 77. Yeah.
And you know, the father from Good Times is like 5 years older than JJ, right?
Oh wow.
Yeah. He doesn't look
Man,
like that with the hairline and a dad bod and all that stuff. And you know, he always looked like he about to give Michael a beating. He just looked like that. But yeah, I heard somewhere that he's like 5 years older than JJ. Or maybe it's just JJ that look young.
Yeah. That's probably more it than anything. They do that a lot with TV shows. They'll have, grown people, 25 years old, 26, playing high school students and whatnot, So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, now this is interesting. This scene here. Look at his suspenders. Look at his suspenders. Like, you must have been the coolest person ever, besides everything else that was going on, to just have that outfit. Like, yeah, this is my suspenders. The belt has been invented, but I'm gonna wear this and smoke a pipe. Like that's how I get down. I'm Mr. and this is what I do. So then the girl that he wants just comes out of nowhere delivering mail, like, you mind if Netty stay here for a spell? It's like, y'all know where this is gonna end. And
yeah, that was a bad idea.
Yeah, it's like, oh gosh. And I get it, she's leaving a bad situation, but it's kind of like a weak guy with long hair in prison, and then they say something like, oh yeah, you don't want to wind up in cell block B, I'm gonna take you to cell block D, and it's the same thing. You're just like, you're just everybody looking at you like you got high heels on, like, it's like this is the same thing. Like you get to your cell and your cellmate is looking at you like this. It's like, oh crap, this, how was this better? She said I couldn't get him off me, and I'm not. She's a little girl in an awful situation. Now I want to because I'm gonna do separate characters. I'm definitely gonna cover Netty's character because she's definitely worth reviewing. But I want to focus on Mr. now. But I do think that they try to paint these characters. Alice Walker was painting these characters as no way out. So any behavior that they exude is really a function of circumstance beyond their control. So go for it.
Well, Netty was, and I do apologize. I had an important text message, so I missed your setup to this, but I kind of heard you, so hopefully I'm piggybacking on what you were on.
Go for it.
Netty didn't have to be there. So apparently, it seems like where she lived with her father, who he bought Cely from, was relatively in walking distance. If she walked there, it probably was a long walk, but I could see how she, could get up every other morning and make the long hike and go hang out with her sister and leave early enough to be home before dark. So that is a weirdly written part in the story where she show up just in like, what was she's like staying there for a week, the summer, or like, what was the deal with that?
A spell.
What does a spell mean in 1925 or whenever this was?
I don't know. I think it's just one of those things that don't mean anything, like a moment. Like you ever call like a 800 number or tech support or something, they say, please hold for one moment, and you don't know how long that is. I think it's one of those words. Even back
Yeah,
then, I
but
think it was one of those words.
I know, but she was staying like overnight, right?
Yeah,
Like,
she was staying
yeah,
overnight. Yeah.
yeah. So if you staying overnight at somebody's house for a spell, that could be a week or a month. Like it just sounds like that. So it was no reason. It was no reason for that. And one other thing not written into the movie, it's I wonder when she went. Well, I could think of reasons why she probably wouldn't, but when she went back after I mean, after he tried to get at her, keeping it language friendly.
Mhm.
It seemed like, she did have a dad that just she lived with. It seemed like her dad probably should have. I mean, I'm shocked it wasn't the scene where dad came to ride down on Mister, something like that. Yeah, I just thought about that.
Well, I mean, I think that yeah, like the dad should have came out of nowhere, like this my booty or some crap like that.
Oh no,
Is that what you're assuming? Well, I mean,
no,
then again, didn't the
that's his
dad marry?
daughter. I'm just
No, but that's why she
assuming.
left. You know that, right? That's why she left because when she went to Cely, she said I couldn't keep him off me.
Oh shoot, I forgot about that part.
Yeah, she said.
She couldn't
She
keep
said
her
I couldn't.
dad.
That's why I said it's like leaving one cell block and going to another because apparently they're both pederasts. So
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, yeah. Okay, I remember that now. And dang it.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Whoa.
They write these characters as if like the men are so awful that the women don't have no choice but to be. Every subsequent personality is a result of a daddy like that and a brother-in-law like this. Like everything that happened as a result.
Yeah.
Was that? Yeah,
Yeah,
but
so now I get, because again, like, well, apologies, I had to read in a very important text message, but now I remember what you were saying faintly when I was distracted. That yeah, they had nowhere to go. Basically, that's how they depicted it. That she was leaving from I can't even think of two names off the top of my head, but you get the point. I mean, you made the point, so you get the point.
yeah, that's what I was
That he
saying. The
was,
cell block, like
yeah,
most
okay, yeah,
like
that
be
was
the
the
cell
cell
like
block
me.
analogy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. It's like, hey, no matter where you go, it's gonna be bad for you. It's like one of those things.
yeah, got it.
So yeah, so she's delivering the mail. Apparently, he has no problem with her touching the mail, and he has this weird grin about himself. And she wasn't there just for a little bit; she was there for a while, um, because. And the reason why I could tell is I was looking at the crops in the background. Well, I can't because I don't know how long it take like sunflowers to grow. To be perfectly honest with you, but
That's
you
still a
know,
good observation. Still a good observation. It takes stuff time to grow. But
yeah,
so and this is part of this is me having seen the movie in a while, but just making sure I got the whole chronology and everything right. In the beginning of the movie, when Celie was giving birth to Olivia, when she was giving
yeah.
that okay. Um that was her dad her dad was the one who impregnated her with Olivia.
Well, they don't say until later in the movie, but since it's someone else's character and this movie is, decades old, I'll just spoil it. That's not her natural dad. That's her stepfather.
Oh yeah, that's right. I do remember that part. But so
Now, I
that's
think only
Netty's
that's
natural
Eddie's
dad though,
natural
right?
dad. Yeah, which makes him,
Yeah.
twisted.
Okay.
But every man in this movie, save the simps, are twisted. So but yeah, it's pretty bad, and she's there just biding her time before he makes his move.
Yeah. 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 They never really explain either. Like what? Okay, when she said she couldn't keep him off of her. Okay, she left. Mister. I mean, she ran away from Mister's plantation, and
Mhm.
then
No, she ran away from Papa's plantation.
and then she had to run away from Mister's. So
Yeah,
they don't really say where she go. We just catch back up with them, and she's in Africa. Like, was it any in between? Like, what the hell did she? How did she get from
yeah, yeah.
being in
She did.
between two? Okay, so yeah, so
She
what?
did. And I'll give a quick one on that because I want to do Nettie's character separately,
Okay,
but no, she met up with a pastor and his wife, who they took her in, and they also just so happened to be the foster parents or the adopted parents of Cely's
uh,
kids. So
Got
she's
it. Got it.
yeah,
Oh wow. Okay. Cool. 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 Yeah. And so
and
then
they were
look
doing
at that.
mission work in Africa.
In the seemingly decent man in the movie was an off-camera character. Just throwing that
No,
out
he
there.
was on camera.
Oh, he
He
was
was on
okay. Cool. 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 I
yeah,
don't remember him.
yeah, he was on camera. I mean, it's kind of so it seems like this town has two pastors, and one of them is like better than the other. Like one of them has this wife that they go abroad and do missionary work and stuff, and the other one seemed to be like on the same land with a man that's doing his daughter. Like, yeah. Or he's like between the two properties of both of both people trying to do Netty. Like that that's his while his daughter, yeah, that's a whole nother story. But it's definitely clear who God loves more. It's that part is clear. Which pastor, you know. So yeah, the other guy was sent to Africa to, spread it there.
Wow.
So the girls get together and they start to mimic, make fun of, mock Mister behind his back. I'm pretty sure that because of this, he don't like that. He don't like that. Things that are seemingly innocent, could lead to something devastating in the future. He's aware of that, and he don't like that. But one thing that they said, and this really goes to um, how aware they were, was that you got to leave before he makes his move on you. And this is a criticism that I have too. And rest in peace, Alan Roger Curry. And so I'm gonna say to his followers, women know when you're gonna make a move. They know. You think you're doing something if you're talking to your homies, like, hey, I'm gonna talk to that one right there. She know while you're saying it to him, even though you don't hear it, that he's gonna come over and talk to. They already know. They already know that they know, and they know when you're looking at them, they know what you're looking at, all that crap. They know. They knew he was thinking thoughts for quite some time, and they know that he's going to make his move. This is, that's just one of those things.
Yeah.
So they know it's coming, and they're like, okay, let's get you nice and literate because I'm going to have to leave, and I'm going to have to communicate with you through text messages, or excuse me, through writing.
Right. No, you said it right. Text message of the day. No,
yeah, the text message of the day. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, they're gonna like write smiley faces and emojis back and forth to each other. So,
Right.
so she's like, let's get her literate, but he's like, okay. I don't know what he's thinking then, because here it was clear that she's not interested. She's not interested. She's going to live there as long as she can, but the moment you make your move, she's going to move out. Know what's going to happen when you shoot your shot.
Oh, okay, well that's it's more like I don't know if that was shooting the shot, more like trying to dunk on a Fisher Price rim on somebody else's driveway without asking.
Okay, you got to explain that one to
me. You talking about Mr. Netty? It wasn't a shot being shot. He was, I assume.
No, he shot a shot.
Okay, okay. Did she have the option to say no?
Not if she liked food and like warm house, but I mean, here's the thing. Okay, so he shot. It was more of a shot than Netty. So remember this scene here where
he was trying to be a little gentlemanly and chivalrous.
Yeah,
he
was being romantic. He had the
a little romantic. Okay,
yeah. So that was him shooting.
It was an attempt to charm her. It was. So you know what, and maybe this is part of the him being viewed as the ultimate bad guy. That part of that's probably creeping in my head as well. That it probably was no evidence that I've had to watch it again, and with this thought in mind. Was it evidence that he would forcibly take it, or
Yeah.
was he more so just trying to? I'm going to pursue it and proposition it, and if she say no, there will be consequences and repercussions, like get off my land.
Well,
That's
yeah, I do think that right here is a carrot and a stick approach. Except the stick is spelled with a D that replaces the ST. But this is definitely the carrot in the in the stick approach. It's like, okay, the carrot is, the romantic guy, got the top hat and the gloves, and I'm gonna do my dance, and I got the roses in the hair, and I'm gonna pull your arm, but now she's pulling back, and then he starts to pull more, and it's like, okay, here
yeah,
comes the
that's what yeah, that's what had me thinking. Like, I don't know if she really had the option to say no, but that's I don't know. I don't know. I mean, she swung on. I mean, I forgot what she hit him with. I do know she hit him with something, right?
no. So she has her books, because the backpack of the day was an old belt that you wrap all of your school books in. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, she hit him with a copy of Huck Finn and Oliver Twist, like
Mm.
that. She has, you see her holding it like right there with her left hand, and and he's pulling at her, and yeah, and she hit him in the right spot too.
Yeah. And you know
And
what? Come to think of it, no, I actually now my memory of the movie now actually debunks the idea that he would have been on some just take it stuff, because when she hit him and ran, when he came back there, it was just like, get the hell off my land. So it really was a carrot or the stick, but with a with a D. But if she don't accept it, then okay, now you're homeless, or go back to your dad who was trying to do the same thing. Either gonna be me or
exactly,
him. You can get it from him, or
exactly.
you can get it from me. One or the other.
And your dad is your dad, so think about the kids. Like, so it's
So yeah,
yeah,
that was the situation, and she refused. So it was get off my land. No free rides over here. God damn it. So
yeah.
yeah, that
Which
was
is
more.
and the get off my, and it was really just the worst depiction of black men
Mm-hmm.
that anybody has ever seen ever. And it's the type of thing that burns into a young girl's psyche and creates a residual hate to the guy that she dates, at 22. Like this,
Mm-hmm.
that's what that did. They still see a little bit of Mister, you know, in this, throwing rocks at her, like, get off my land, and she crying like nothing but death to keep me from her, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Is
Yeah.
it was the saddest thing ever, and it was just awful. It was just awful. And that was Alice Walker's intent on painting this character.
Yeah. At this point in the movie, did enough time go by to where Netty was married? Yeah, I mean, you could look at her. She would have had to been marrying age. I do know when he tried to buy her, didn't he say Netty was too young?
Yeah,
Didn't
I
he
don't
say
know how
that?
much time has passed. And I don't know if she actually was too young. Okay, so to the people listening, I know a lot of you, or some of you at least, were born this millennia, but it was not uncommon for people, especially in rural areas, to marry very, very young, like right after
Yeah,
puberty. Uh,
14, 13, 14. Yeah, that used to go down.
Exactly. So, you got to
So
put on a
that
different lens when you're thinking about movies like this. You got to put on a different lens. You got to put yourself in the predicament of the time.
I know, because
Um,
I just snapped out of all of my current today thinking, and I'm like, well, you know what? That may not have been a bad deal for her to just she would have got to be there with her sister. The way things worked that day, if you were a pretty young girl, you got married off with an older man who had land. It's like you if if not him, then it would be just another older man with land that you would have had to pair off with for food, shelter, and survival, basically. But
and
this food, shelter, water, survival came with being close to your sister. So, and that age gap was relatively normal back then. So probably would not have been that bad of a deal.
Yeah.
You know, stepping outside of, you know, modern day lens, it really wouldn't been that bad of a deal for her. But anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he did seem to be one of the few landowners at the time. I mean, if you look at the background of this, because he only had 3 kids, Harpo and 2 daughters. But there was a bunch, there were like dozens of kids there.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if they put those kids there to show Harpo as having like a personality that attracts people. Maybe that's why he you know, owned the juke joint later. He's connected. Or maybe those are the children of the workers. You know, which means that he had like field hands. You know, while everybody else was sharecropping, he was, you know, he was employing field hands and, you know, working the field himself. So, you know, who knows what was going on in that dynamic, but it definitely does suggest something that those kids being there. And also the father, and we're going to get into him later, but it seemed like the dynamic was the house that Mr. lived in. There's the house that Mr. lived in. And then there's a smaller Harpo house that comes later, which leads me to conclude that there is a bigger grandpa house that somewhere off camera is a bigger grandpa house.
When the grandpa, I know, I get where you're going, but when the grandpa showed up, it did seem like he kind of drove in from far away.
Well, I mean, that could be how big the land is.
Nah, come on. I understand. Like you rightfully pointed out that in terms of the amount of land that he owned, the juke joint, all of that was on the land that he owned. That you know, Mr. was a high value man of his day. You pointed it out, dude. I died laughing. But so I think that would possibly be even a bigger stretch. That would be a stretch if they owned that much land to where the dad had to drive up from really far away. I don't know why it seemed like they hadn't seen each other in a long time. That's why I'm thinking that it was that wasn't the case. But I mean, you are accurate. I think the book details that, if I'm not mistaken, that how much land he owned. Like this was a man who had money and owned a lot of land, and so yeah. But I don't think the dad, well, his dad was that in that close proximity, but they had that much land to where they owned everything in between him and his dad. That'd be a lot.
Yeah, maybe you're right. You know, who knows? All right, but yeah, this scene is, you know, is really like, you know, making Mr. out to be Mumra combined with Cobra Commander combined with Megatron. You know, just an amalgamation of all three, and Skeletor. Like they just really just like all of the villains of the 80s cartoons, they put it into Mr. to make him the worst person ever.
Yeah.
So that's why we're doing this, to give like a 360 on Mr. AKA Albert, but we'll get into that too. And this is him just peeking in the house while his wife and her sister's trying to learn to read. Ain't y'all got nothing better to do? So if you wonder why a lot of the women are taking this, they overvalue education, this is why. They think that if you don't, Mr. will beat you. It's the only thing that saves you from the boogeyman in the form of Mr.
Yeah.
At least that's my theory.
Well, no, these scenes were visually symbolic of the idea, the notion of get an education so you won't have to depend on some man who's going to be ruling over you. That's what this was visually symbolic of. Yeah.
Exactly. And then exactly one generation later, there's this whole we're the most educated. They're not, but they like to think that, you know.
Right.
So yeah, it's that push. Okay. All right. So, um, yeah, I gotta cover this. It's yeah. So, he comes and Harpo grew up. The boy that was Harpo. Oh no, actually, I don't want to cover that just yet. I don't, and I didn't put a slide in for this, but I have to cover it. After that Academy Award winning scene from The Color Purple,
Mm-hmm.
Mister, he told Cely to get him a shave. With the old timey old belt that and this is before my grandpa's time. I never seen my grandpa shave like that either. But you have the old belt that you sharpen the razor with and stuff, and yeah, it's so he was about to do that, and the mail came, and he was excited that Suge Avery was going to be there in 2 days. But he wasn't there, she wasn't there in 2 days. It was a long time before Suge Avery actually came. So I want to just point that out now. But in the meantime, and the reason why I'm pointing out that time has passed, because before Harpo was a little boy in the last scene that we covered. Now
Mm-hmm.
he's I don't know what he is. And I'm not, this is an insult to the actor that plays him or something, but I don't know what age the writers are going for with him here. I don't know if he's 16, he's anywhere between 16 and 24, but he's ready for marriage. And for whatever reason, this high value young man is marrying this woman. Look at her hat. He's marrying this woman of all the women, because like all those little girls that was playing in the field grew up to be women, and this is the one that he chose for whatever reason. What are your thoughts, Bernard?
Yeah. So I'm looking at this, and every time I talk about one of these movies with you, I just see stuff that I didn't see before. And why do she look like his damn mama?
Well, that's Oprah, and she was old. I don't know why
They
they
could
had the
not
bright
have
ass
been the
kid.
same. They could not have been the same age.
They were
I'm
not
not.
the same age. Yeah.
I'm not talking about the characters. I'm talking. I mean, okay, the characters, the actors, the whole thing. Like that. Like why? That's weird. They should have. Okay, if they was dead set on putting Oprah in this movie,
They
they
were.
should have casted an older looking Harpo, because they don't even look like they almost supposed to be together.
It doesn't make sense. Oprah, okay, just so you know, Harpo is Oprah spelled backwards. So she actually had a lot of influence in this. I don't know if she knows Alice Walker, or if she knew Alice
Uh,
Walker
mhm.
personally or what, but she forced her way into this role.
Mm.
And even then, she was old. She had the Oprah Winfrey show, and so she had to be at least in her 30s. And she seems like she's trying to play a teenager here. It is very off-putting.
Yeah.
The match doesn't make sense at all, and the personality is like how Harpo is trying to make him goofy, a bit of a pushover,
Yeah.
uh, not too a little clumsy. He's like a human Jar Jar Binks.
Woo. They did pull that off, you know, and
Yeah,
that's probably what made me not notice the age difference between the two. That they did a good job of making him look like weak, jittery, goofy, pushover type of dude. And that was the contrast that I saw between them, because she's the hard, rough, tough, don't take no stuff type of, chick. So
right.
that was the only contrast I saw. But no, looking at this now, yeah, she looked 42, he looked 16. And that looked
Yeah.
weird. But shout out to Too Cool for School in the building. Shout out to you.
Okay, I appreciate it. He says, Bernard Riley, game changer, my guys. Great to see y'all on the stream. Yeah, great to be here. So just so y'all know, shout out to Chantel Simone. Chantel and I are also going to cover a character. So is Sweet Melody Speaks, and some others. Some others. We're definitely gonna break this movie down. Boycott the new remake. That is why I am doing this series. I want y'all to have the visceral hatred of this movie that I do. This is the Bible of modern Black women. This this should be burned. Like those people who's in Germany in the 40s that start with an N, they were burning stuff. Like it should be burned. It should be purged. So yeah, do not give it money. If you just have a overwhelming urge and desire to see it, email me and trust me, you'll see it. But do not give them money. Do not give them money. I cannot repeat that enough. Do not. Oprah is worse. She is the Black Emperor Palpatine. She is the worst person ever. Look at her here. Look at that hat. So, do not give money to somebody who looked like her.
Also, KP from KC5 point out something really good when he's saying, I guess he got to be referring to the new one that's coming out. He said this is going to be a lesbian fantasy watch. In the book, and you'll probably get into this when you talk about some of the other characters, but in the book, it was some lesbianism going on in the books that they left out of the movies in the 80s. All of that is coming back. Cely and Suge are gonna be doing the scissors in that. It's like all kind of So anyway, it's gonna be that kind of movie.
and yeah, I remember that. It was kind of nasty. I didn't read it. It was one of those class reads, back in the day. But yeah, it was nasty even then. Yeah. We'll get into that. I know. Well, we're not. If I have the time to give a good read before the before the Chantel stream and the Melody stream, and things like that, I will, to give some context to this. But yeah, let me move forward. So he's sitting there with the Jar Jar Binks look and his best suit, and and she's wearing old curtains, and he's like, "Us gonna get married." And then, Mr. rightly said, "Don't think I'm going to let you marry my son because you're in the family way." Now, this is 100-year ago talk. The family way is before they had DNA testing. A woman would just wind up pregnant and a man would marry, because that's the family way. That's the family way. They had, those double barrel type thing weddings back then. So a woman knew that the ticket to a ring was to get knocked up. And this was before the invention of lambskin. And this was a couple of years before the invention of the pullout method being discovered 2 years after this. So yeah,
that was one of those times where I don't be knowing if you're joking or if you're serious. That have to be a joke. But if there's a joke, if there's any historicity on when the pullout method was invented, I need to know that.
I hope it's a joke. I hope that they didn't that it took them that long to think to pull it out.
Oh, you know what? There was a moment in the Bible where somebody pulled out. Yeah, so they knew about it. I don't know if they did it, but they knew about it. Yeah, somebody was supposed to be impregnating somebody, and he didn't want to. So they said he spilled his seed on the floor and then got smite. Something bad happened to him afterwards because he didn't listen. But anyway,
wait a minute. They smited people for that? So they smited people for not pulling out. That's why she's pregnant.
No, I think
he didn't want to get smited.
I think he was punished by God. I don't know, but I don't know. I want to get to a Bible talk. Somebody gonna correct me because I like misquote the Bible on purpose half the time. But okay. But that if something similar happened, the Bible readers know the story. But so anyway, people were aware, even 2,000 years ago that stay in the course when you're in there. That's what gets the woman pregnant. So yeah, they knew. So but yeah. You had me thinking when you said the pull-out method was invented 2 years after this. That had me thinking, wait a minute. But anyway, getting back to the movie, you point out something that, again, something I didn't know, because I didn't know what that term, the family way, meant.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, Miss Sophia, pregnant, and that's the logic and reason as to why they had to get married. Of which it's I would say a greater than 50% chance that Harpo ain't the daddy.
Which is something that Mister points out.
Yeah.
He even said women nowadays, meaning 100 years ago, are no good. They got their legs open for every Tom, Dick, and Harpo.
Yeah, dang.
Ain't that something? Right,
ain't that something that, you know, the time before time when women were wives, the time that many traditional men long for, but the men back then was like, nah, these women ain't worth nothing. That's funny that they
well, I mean,
men
should I
today
point you to this one again? Like, should I point you to this original slide? I mean,
hold on,
apparently,
wait, hold on. Okay, wait, because I didn't have the screen up. I was okay. Oh yeah. That slide,
yeah.
absolutely.
So, according to this movie that was written by a B-dub, oh, I could say it now. According to this movie, the day after slavery, they gathered together and say, "We gonna be ain't shit. We about to be some ain't shit women." Like right after emancipation, that's when the ain't shitness started. Because you know, like he's of course older than his son, and you know, his wife is no longer with us. She was deleted by her boyfriend coming home from church. It's like, dang, y'all, when y'all heard the word freedom, y'all just like, oh, now I am free to just cheat on them niggas. It's just like what? You know, to leave them stuck with other people's babies.
Yeah, that line right there. That's why Mister needs a prequel. I keep saying that. We need the origin story. That was when he was created. Right there, having that wife cheating on him. His wife had a boyfriend. That we need that origin story.
Boyfriend.
Yeah, we need that prequel. We definitely need that prequel.
Yes. Okay. And Kenneth Williams, greatly appreciate you. He says, much appreciated content. I have to be a hater. I have to be a hater. You know, thank you. If you really have to, you know, spend, what is it, $15, you know, give it to me. Give it to me, but don't give it to this movie. So yeah, that's what I have to say about that. I appreciate you, Kenneth Williams. So back to this. Mr. Skeptical, you know, he even describes his son as young and limited. Limited means it's a way of saying slow, but a type of slow that's not your fault. Like it's kind of like you're not as savvy because you're limited in your interaction and scope of the world, which is limited to that farm because he has to stay there and work. You know, you haven't developed the sophistication of somebody who was raised in New York or Boston at the time. Is a polite way of saying that. Yeah, so that's what he means. Like, you know, he's young, he's limited. You know, fast girl like you can get one over on Harpo. You know, it's et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And you know, he basically was not feeling this chick, and rightly so. Rightly so, given his experience with his first wife, you know, Harpo's mother. He's right to be skeptical. He understands that, and Harpo doesn't, that women can be highly deceitful, and the ability to properly cooperate is essential in a marriage, not just what you see with your eyes. And I don't know what he sees with his eyes. Like, you know, Harpo's he was on some, you know, beer goggle from the juke joint that he's going to build later. But, you know, he's
he was the juke joint already there. He was just the only customer. That's what was
pretty much.
He was in there every night,
pretty much
drinking up all his own liquor.
Yeah, he had a barn somewhere, and he called it Harpo's Juke Joint. You know, with a bunch of liquor in it. Like, okay, now let's get together. Sophia is a pretty name. So, okay, ladies, if a man is saying your name is pretty, he's reaching for compliments. He don't have anything else good to say about you. There's no pretty smile, nice body, I love your hair, your breath smells so good. There is nothing good he has to say about you, but that is a pretty name.
What's funny is that sometimes the woman herself will make the name. Like, it was a ugly girl I went to school with. Her name was Octavia. And the
Okay.
name Octavia on a pretty girl, it would sound, yeah, that's a cute name, Octavia. But she was so ugly. Whenever we said her name, we said it like Octavia. We like horked something up in the back of our throat. I didn't lead the charge. I was no bully. But that's how her name was said. Like, you almost like horked something up in the back of your throat, like Octavia. Like, so.
Oh, dang, y'all cool.
I'm saying that to say that sometimes the name, the person will make the name, the woman will make the name. An ugly woman can make a pretty name ugly, and a pretty woman can make an ugly name pretty. That's all I'm saying.
Right quick, as a quick aside, I had this conversation recently with Melody on her show, because it was the first time I actually seen it. We was covering a Kendra G. Which one is Crimson Cure? Which one is not Crimson Cure?
Crimson Cure is with the D.
Okay, so Kendra G is who we were covering.
Yes.
And there was, I think you covered it too, the woman who looked kind of like Oompa Loompa.
34 going on 57.
Yeah, that one. Her name was Kira. And I have never seen an unattractive Kira until her. Like, all the Kiras I've seen prior to her have been like 8.5 and above. It was actually to the point where I wasn't even certain if I'm qualified, if I have the genetic qualifications to name my own daughter Kira. So I don't want to break this, I don't want to mess with this, like, maybe if the mother is Ethiopian, I'll chance it, but I don't think I have the qualified genetics to produce a qualified Kira. And but she was saying that in Jersey, she know plenty ugly Kiras, but it's Jersey. So you're from Michigan. Tell me, is that a thing?
Kira being a
is it just a name, or was I on to something? Is it a name reserved for a certain type of woman?
Yeah, I can't think of a unattractive Kira, so I think you are definitely onto something. I think you are.
Okay. So the woman on that show, she was just the first to like destroy it.
Yeah.
She destroyed the name. Yeah, like publicly.
Agreed.
We're on the trend of Kira. Salty balls. Appreciate you.
Yes. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just reading his tube chat. He says matched. I don't know what that means.
I think he matched the other gentleman who super chatted.
Okay. I appreciate you.
Matched with their dead. He tends to do that a lot. So I mean, if this was one of them days where somebody came through, dropped a dropped a heavy-handed super chat on you. Dropped a red when he come through. He tends to come through and match the red. He tends to do that. But speaking of Salty Balls, he actually just hit me on my Cash App. So shout out to Salty Balls. Do appreciate that. Do appreciate you hitting my Cash App. Oh, and thank you. When I did one of my premieres, I remember you super chatted. I haven't been live since then, so I haven't been able to formally thank you. So yeah, definitely appreciate your support all throughout the space. Shout out to Salty Balls.
Speaking of which, I got a Cash App too, but it's from somebody that's not here right now. I was hoping that he came on. I got it on my last show. But you know who you are. So if you're in there and you're silently watching, go ahead and let me know that you're there, and I'll shout you out. If not, I'll put you on the community tab. So don't worry, you will get your credit. Sometimes I don't have my phone with me to do the super chats. But all right, so back to the movie. So it's a bad deal all around. Mr. sees it, but he eventually co-signs. Now, why do you think he co-signed this situation? Like, I
don't know. Okay. You saying he co-signed Harpo getting married to Sophia? I mean, right now he said he didn't co-sign him. So what do you mean he co-signed it?
Okay, so at the end of this scene, she's like, "I'm gonna leave," and then And then he said, Harpo, stay right there. And she was like, don't keep me waiting. So apparently Harpo made his decision. You know, your daddy telling you stay, your baby mama telling you come, you know, kind of like, you know, you have a kid and the mama and the daddy is there. Like it's he made that decision. He made that decision, like who the kid gonna come to. And he went to her, but he was at the wedding. Mr. was at the wedding.
Yeah, but I remember him being looking a little disgruntled or at the wedding. He wasn't, you know.
He was asleep. He was asleep.
Okay, yeah, okay. See, my memory a little foggy on this. Okay, so good. Okay, so he wasn't feeling it. So that's why I'm a little confused. That you said he co-signed it. I don't think he did. I just think he said just whatever.
Once again, you got to put yourself in the 1920s brain. You know, you gotta. They had things of disown. You know, like it was a real thing. Disowning was a real thing.
Ah, yeah.
Disowning
Okay, so.
isn't really a thing for us, especially growing up in the city. It's disowning is a thing to Harpo, being the son of a landowner, the sole son of a landowner.
Right. So the mere fact that we saw Harpo again in his movie means that
With a
Mr.
house
Ultimate
and a juke joint on his land.
got it.
You know,
Okay, so yeah, so he did technically approve. He didn't like it, but he approved it. He could have did a full blown just disown him and he can go run off, marry Miss Sophia and whoever's baby that is, and raise whoever's baby that is in her, because I bet it ain't Harpo's. But
nah, it's probably busted. Like, you know, like the guy that appeared, yes, it's my job to love her and take her where she need to go. Like, what? That's your job? To be her chauffeur? Like that was kind of strange. But I'm gonna cover Miss Sophia. Chantel, if you're there, you know, that may be you or Suge or whomever. So, you know, definitely gonna cover Miss Sophia in a separate video. So here's the next slide. So this is the acceptance. They get married with the baby in tow.
Mm-hmm.
And you pointed it out right. She does look like his teacher, like his dirty teacher. This does look like the beginning of a nasty porn, or it does.
Yeah.
That's her wedding dress. You remember your grandma's tablecloth that's kind of like yellow? And it used to be white?
Yeah.
Seemed like she took one of those and made a wedding dress out of it.
It used to be white, so you know. She got
There's
on.
no veil, there's no nothing, and she couldn't even have somebody else hold the baby. This is the ghettoest wedding ever. Look at everybody's hat. This is the ghettoest wedding ever. This is the ghettoest.
She damn near breastfeeding at the altar getting married.
It does look like it. It does look like it. I mean, and that's probably what they was going for, but the baby knew that wasn't his real mama. But it seemed like that's what they were going for.
Oh man, like I don't know how I did not notice the age difference.
Yeah,
that is crazy.
Because we seen it when we were kids, and every adult was equally.
No, I rewatched this as an adult plenty of times. Okay. You know, and I did not notice that she looks all of 43 and he looks all of 16, if not 15. Did not notice.
She Sophia'd her way into this role. I mean, just the fact that she has the rights to make plays and stuff, and she actually named Harpo, the reverse of her name, you know, really means that she had influence way back then and now on this movie. So yeah, she elbowed her way into this role. Like,
yeah, she did.
Yeah. So the wedding consists of a bunch of people on the bride side and about 5 people on the groom side. So yeah, it's pretty. It's really a testament to what happens when you don't marry a fertile woman. You know, because it's supposed to be more. But one, it's kind of strange that Albert don't have any brothers or sisters, you know.
See,
but then they probably just didn't care to come because the
I
father
was
wasn't there.
looking at it. I was looking at it from that angle. Like, what does that say about Mister? Or they wrote him like that? Like, okay, he's this horrible, bad man, so horrible that not a single person in his family likes him or cares about him or cares to be at his son's wedding. Like that. That's how they made it. But at the same time, when you cross-reference that with the fact that another a point that people don't notice about him, that he was practically, I don't want to say rich, but the amount of land that he owned in that day. And there's scenes where we get an idea that he constantly he had a nonstop flow of cash laying around. But so it would make like, so how does a wealthy or very well off land owning black man with money not have any family members lurking around or hanging around? But
Or
like you
friends.
said,
Yeah.
it could be just on the strength of you marry a woman a woman about town who showed up pregnant allegedly with your baby, and people don't support that wedding, but her side of the family, they ain't no they like, oh yeah, we approve. Yes, our our cousin, sister, niece, whoever, that's wild out, loud, obnoxious, be beating up women, be hitting on men, be knocked up by who knows. Like, yes, we approve her getting married. It's like, so it's like a contrast there. They approve of that shit. I mean, but the Mr. side of it don't. There's a contrast there.
You're onto something. You're definitely onto something, because everybody, of course, is going to approve her marrying him, but they're really not approving him marrying her.
Yes, that's more or less what I was getting at.
Yeah. And I think one key thing to know here is that Mr.'s father is not there.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah. Now, what's wrong with these broads? He goes to hug his daughter-in-law on a marriage that he sanctioned. I mean, they are going to live on his land and eat the food of his land, eat the eggs of his chicken from the chicken coop and all that good stuff. And, he just want to hug his new daughter-in-law. What is this? What is this? What's this wall that what's this, ugly chick wall that they created for him? Look at their hat. What was that about? So he's just a dude in about town that gets no respect, even though he's hiring everybody.
Right.
Am I tripping?
No, you're not. No, you're not. But that goes back to, we could analyze it through and through, but they've set it up that, okay, he's the black male villain of the movie, so he's bad. Mm-hmm. so there's just that's just that. He's technically done nothing to Miss Sophia. Like, not like you can't name nothing he did other than his initial not approving of the wedding. That's about it.
Well, I mean, and people do that. I mean, if you had a daughter, because my uncle recently did it. If you had a daughter and some dude come and ask for the hand, you're gonna give him the degree. You're gonna give him that work. The best one I seen was on Bad Boys.
Oh yeah,
that was a classic one. But yeah, you go give him that work. It could be fall under that category, but the whole family is just like, like, what in the world is this? But I think RBR, and this is a rare gem for RBR, he brings up a very good point.
Is that you said RBR? That's RBN.
Oh, no, it's RBN. But no, I think they're the same person, right?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wait, you think that's the Real Brother Network? No, I don't think that's RBR.
You sure?
Okay. The reading of that sentence tells me otherwise.
That's what I'm saying. It's either a rare gem or it's a different person. But let's go with it. I appreciate you.
You can let us know.
Yeah. It says, if they cover the fact that Mr. was productive black man from a money standpoint, would show his humanity. So, and I do think that there is this thing in Black America, this inexplicable disdain that we have for a certain type of wealthy black men, not ones who do it from entertainment. Wealthy black men who get their money from means other than entertainment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, my
Agreed.
bad, brother. Yeah, real
Yeah,
bravado.
I was reading that down there too. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Shout out, salute.
I appreciate you. I'm like, wait a minute, this don't sound like RP. I'm like, what's
Yeah, I
going
knew
on?
it couldn't have been. I knew it couldn't
Yeah,
have been.
I appreciate you, brother. But no, I mean, he brings up a good point. There is this disdain. There's this like this latent disdain. Probably because these are the guys that hire and fire you. These are the guys that if you're producing 7 units an hour, they want 10. I mean, I think it's probably just a class thing that everybody has, but because other groups don't marry between classes like that, they don't they don't get treated like this.
Mm. Yeah, that's interesting. I still just wouldn't. That's interesting. I just leave it there. You raise an interesting point if it's
Uh,
the class thing that people like. I mean, that's a way that they didn't depict it, but that's probably how it was. That he probably was the uppity Negro.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I didn't look at it like that at all. But when you again just look at the wide shot of his land, it's like he had money.
And he got like stacks of it like hidden in in various places throughout the house. You open up a floorboard and you find like a stack of $5 bills, which is a lot. Like so, he's he's doing good.
Yeah. Which means all intents and purposes, they should be very happy that Miss Sophia is marrying Harpo. And it
Well, they
seems
are, but
as
they
if,
just look at him like,
well, it seems like an iota of respect should be sent his way, but this is black female writing, so there's that.
exactly. Exactly. And he's a patriarchal black man, even though he was forced into this position. For those of you who just got here, what made Mr. Mister, this is a part that has been widely glossed over. His wife is dead. She was deleted by her boyfriend coming from church. His wife had a boyfriend. I
Yeah.
repeat, his wife had a boyfriend. Everything about his character subsequent this is likely a result of his wife having a boyfriend
Yeah,
that
that's the
deleted the wife. And
mhm.
everybody know, even little girls in church. Everyone here has seen this movie at least 100 times and missed this scene. This right here. And these are captions.
Yes.
These are captions. This isn't something I had put together. That is what happened. And if you don't believe me, go back and watch it. That was in the movie.
Yeah. A lot of people miss that. And I
Yes.
missed it a million times until you told me that yes, when they was given the voiceover narration at the beginning of the movie, this was his voiceover narration where they told that story.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody ever noticed it. And that's his Marvel origin story as to why when that first time Cely talked back to him, he slapped her because
Exactly.
he let a lot of stuff ride with his first wife to the point to where she was cheating on him, disrespecting him, and like I theorized that all them kids that he had, all them kids probably weren't even his. If your wife got a boyfriend who's
There's no
who
Maury
deleted
Povich.
her,
There's no
yeah,
way of telling.
yeah. If the wife got a boyfriend who deleted her, that means they was in love. His wife and her boyfriend was in love. And so, yeah, this man needs a prequel. Like I said in the beginning, I'm keep saying it again. This man needs a prequel. We need the Mr. Prequel so we can get the full origin story that led up to this character, painted as a villain. Just like the Star Wars got the prequels with you got to see Anakin Skywalker as a kid and grow up and see what led him to the dark side and all that. Yeah, we need that for Mister. We need it.
Exactly. Yeah, you do. You need the first 3 movies. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Like all the villains need something like that. Like Magneto, like if you just look at him now, it's like, dang, what do you got against humans? But then you go back and it's like, oh, you was one of those people with the star, like in the worst time to be one of those people with the star. Okay, yeah, now it kind of makes sense. It gives you some perspective. So I'm gonna keep coming back here because this is the reason why he is what he is, and for whatever reason, they just take to mugging him. They just take to randomly mugging him.
They probably know. They probably know that his other wife was messing around on him like that. They like, you weak ass nigga. We don't respect you. They probably got that view of him. It's all.
Well, I mean, think about it. Like his these were little girls that knew. So if they know that these were rural little girls that lived like in a shack in the middle of a Georgia rural route. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that everybody knew.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah, it's dang. All right. So Miss Sophia, as predicted, Harpo is a little limited is the word his father used. So we're going to stick with that word. And I think it's very appropriate. He didn't know he bit off more than he could chew. Instead of going with someone younger, hotter, sexier, childless, he went with someone older, fatter, and pregnanter than, he should have. He should have married the woman Squeak before. But trust me, there's going to be a separate video on Squeak. I'm working with Bella Rings on that one. I think she'll be perfect for that. But so now he's
I was just thinking about Squeak. I'm not even gonna say nothing because I know.
Yeah, don't say it because I'm saving that for Bella because Squeak doesn't have many roles, but I want that to be the crown of that interview with her.
Right.
So, but no, back to Harpo. Harpo's situation. So he goes to his dad, and and he asks his dad, how do I get her to mind me? She just won't listen. She just won't mind me. To which he said, you need to take her down a peg or two. And nothing does that like a good sound beating. When I cover Sophia's character, I'm really going to cover the truth in that. I'm not going to talk about it now, but when I cover Sophia's character, I'm going to cover the truth in that statement. I think, Bernard, you might be picking up where I'm going with that. But he's basically saying nothing will get her in line like a good sound beat. Now, think about his perspective. Think about Mr's perspective in saying that. Mr. had two wives. One that's beat and one that's not beat. The one that's not beat is considerably more cooperative. Or excuse me, the one that's beat is considerably more cooperative than the one that's not beaten. Just saying.
Yeah.
So, and once again, I'm not advocating, the Chris Brown method of discipline. I'm just saying, look at the world from his perspective.
Yeah, from a character standpoint.
Yeah.
If his first wife had a boyfriend, so you clearly he wasn't putting hands on her if she just freely had a boyfriend. He get his next wife, the first time she talks back, he slaps her, and she's very cooperative for the rest of the marriage. And so from an internal logic, character analysis, looking at character motivations and all of that, there's internal logic for this character to give that advice to his son. It's hard to get around that given his experience. So there's that. Yeah.
Right. So and also he's a hardworking farm guy. He who has time out to figure out women? He's shoveling hay right now. He just wants food and another thing that begins with an F. You know, he preferred kids, but he just want a clean place and stuff. He don't want to figure out like why is some chicks running off with, getting deleted by boyfriends and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's what happens when God pairs a very complicated gender with a very simple one. And not simple in the sense of low intelligence, because we built this crap that we're talking on now. Simple in the fact that our desires can be calculated, um,
Now,
whereas a woman's desires can't be.
now in this scene, he was having the conversation with him, saying, "I can't get her to mind me." This ain't the one where he came there talking, where he had the swollen eye, and he was saying it was a horse or something.
No, no, no. He said, "Oh, that there's hoof print."
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
that's
This
yeah,
isn't that scene yet. Yeah, we haven't got there. Okay, cool.
no, no. This is him shoveling hay, and he's like, "She won't mind me," and then he's about to go back, and there's pies in the pantry. Well, ain't you gonna get it? It's like, oh gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh, but no, I don't think I did that scene with the swollen eye because I want to cover Mister. I want to cover Mister more than Harpo. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I'm like, oh gosh, this, that's what happened. Okay, now correct me if I'm wrong, and I don't know if I took a decent shot of her. Suge Avery is no hotter than Cely.
I remember even as a kid looking at that, and sometimes as a kid, if they tell you that
Yeah,
this character is unattractive, this character is pretty, you kind of just go with it,
true.
but I
Because you
remember
haven't developed your own definition of pretty. You haven't fully developed your own definition of pretty
mine was
for
developed enough
adults.
mine was developed enough as a kid to where I was like, she really not all that pretty,
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking. Now, older, looking at this and seeing as it seemed like Mr. has been, apparently in love with her for a long time, I'm thinking, okay, maybe she used to be hot. That's just how I'm looking at her right now. And it's some dudes who can't shake that, the girl that they just had a thing for back in the day, back in high school. Flash, they had the 20-year reunion, not even caring that she, damn near over 40, overweight with a couple kids by a couple men, and ain't looking nothing like how she used to look. Like some dudes is on that, but
well, Nick Cannon is on that. Ashton Kutcher is on that. Like whenever you get these younger actors who marry their childhood fantasy, I think that's where it comes from. Yeah.
well, at least, okay. In the case of Dwayne Wade, who married Gabrielle Union, 10 years
Good
older, and
point.
Nick Cannon,
Good.
Nick Cannon married Mariah Carey, who I believe was about 10 years older. They were at least pretty when they married them. Now,
Good point.
but so I do see the difference there, even though that's a bad long-term move. They were thinking long-term, bad
Mhm.
long-term move. But the guy that I was describing, the one who sees them clearly not looking how they used to look, but they still view her the same way. That's just ridiculous. Like he still got the same, passion and love for her, and he can. I don't even know. They never. Mr. Need a prequel. Like when did all of this develop? Were they like ever together? Was she before his first wife that had a boyfriend? Like what
Yeah. Yeah, she
these are
was.
things okay, so this goes
She
all the way
was. You
back.
want to know because they really fleshed that out a little bit in the movie when he's carrying her drunkenness to the house with his wife in it. Um, Harpo's like, "Who's this woman?" And he said, "This is the woman that should have been your mammy."
Oh yeah, there you go. There you go. A little small
So
clue.
yeah, so that's that. And then there's another scene with the father with Grandpa Mister that really just highlights who she is, what she is, and what happened. And I think that's the next slide.
Okay, cool.
But but this one right here, I want to talk about this because he turns from Mister to Albert when she's
Ah,
there.
I
This
was
is where
just
he turns
thinking
from Mister
that.
to Albert.
Yes, we saw him be the simp that he apparently was for his first wife who was cheating on him.
Right. And this is after, he talks to Harpo about a good sound beating and but look at you.
Mm-hmm. And didn't when they bring her, he tried to bring her some food, and she like yelled or cussed him out and threw the food at him. Like
Yeah,
he resorted back to being, to
Albert.
being weak. Yeah, to
And
being
she was
Albert.
like,
Yeah.
and I don't want to smell that pipe smoking. And he just didn't smoke the pipe. Like, you know,
Wow. Now that lines up with the man whose wife had a boyfriend.
it does.
That lines up now. Now we're seeing him like that. Him going from Mr. to Albert. Now you got me looking at this real deep. Like Mr. and Albert, they two different characters now.
Now this is philosophy. This is a philosophical question. You could take it as a rhetorical one or not. If he had married Netty, would he be Mr. or Albert?
Damn it. Damn it. That's a good question. The only thing we got to go on with that is, like we said, in that scene where a lot of people interpret that, and I even did until I just really sat back and thought about it, like he was about to potentially grape Netty. He was being, very, he was being very sweet and romantic and had
Albert.
flowers, and yes, he got in Albert mode. He didn't get a little mysterious until she like pulled back and he didn't let go, and he like pulled
Yeah.
pulled her forward. So it's interesting. You never know. He probably got, get weak and soft around women that he view as pretty. So yeah, you never know. Never
Now,
know.
I have a theory on why they cast a woman who is, I'm not going to call her ugly. I will say that I can think of, even being a person that was very young at the time, I could think of about 10 more attractive women that qualify for this role, beginning with Pam Grier and Robin Givens.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could think of 10, even the mother, or even like the neighbor black chick from the Jeffersons. Like,
Yeah.
like I could really just, the one
Yeah.
that's married to a white dude. I could think of so many that were hotter that would probably fit the role better.
Mm-hmm.
But they made this woman just slightly hotter than Cely with dirt on her face for a
Right.
reason. And what do you think that reason was?
Why would they cast? Why would they write her as pretty but cast her as?
They didn't write her as pretty though.
Are you sure about that?
I'm
Okay,
almost
well,
certain.
hold on. When she's singing in the juke joint and dudes in there saying, "Oh, that old 1925 game,
I
I
drink your
drink your
bath
bath."
water.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
that
drink
was
your bath
disgusting.
water. Yeah, so she was supposed to be attractive.
Okay. Here's where I'm going with that.
Okay.
And that was disgusting because when I was a kid, when you're a kid and you play outside and your bath water look like chocolate milk because you've been outside throwing dirt at your
Mm-hmm.
brother,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And I'm picturing like a grown man drinking that. That's nasty. But here's my theory. And I think that Alice Walker really was going for this effect, and I think that this is why modern women behave the way that they behave now. Mr. as well as the bathwater drinking men of this movie are so stupid, including Harpo, that they mistake confidence for beauty.
Oh.
And I think that Lisa Bonet, Felicia Rashad, thank you.
Yeah.
And in the trend of thinking of better looking at 80s women.
Mm-hmm.
But and I say, because I think Lisa Bonet in 85 was probably a little too young, but
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
but Felicia Rashad definitely.
Right.
So so they're painting this image of black men, like the tactic for getting and controlling a black man and not being Cely is confidence.
Mm.
And that's why you have these overconfident, underqualified modern women who think I'm stupid. You think I'm stupid. You think that, yeah, I'm fat, but look at my confidence. I don't care. I see
Mm-hmm.
the fat in you. That's why we have Lizzo. Lizzo
Yeah.
is a modern Miss Sophia. Thinking, remember she tried to confidence Chris Evans?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You
You
know,
you definitely onto something. You definitely onto something. Now, when you think about it, like for example, all the guys in the juke joint, they are drooling over her. And again, when women write stuff, you gotta read between the lines because
yeah,
women are obviously they're greatly attracted to confidence in men. So they're writing they'll write a female character, give her confidence, and now all the men want her because that's the kind of world that they want to live in where unintangible things that anybody can have, like confidence and spunk and charisma, like stuff like that. They want that to be the measure, so they wrote in a character like that. That yes, even as a kid, I said, well, she's not all that pretty, they wrote in a character like that and just gave her confidence, and then all the men wanted her because again,
exactly.
that's how they are. A guy who's confident and has some, like, okay, for example, yeah, she was a damn bar singer. Okay, a guy could not be that attractive, but if he's a very confident singer, even if he's just a local bar singer who get on stage and serenade it and know how to talk a good game to the women, yeah, he will get he'll get all the, I'm trying not to cuss, but he'll get all of it. So there's
No,
that.
no, I disagree. I disagree. Each and every single time they make a romance movie for women, it's always going to consist of a guy who is off shirt.
Oh, no, I
It's
was saying
always
in
going to
real.
consist of
No,
a off shirt dude that can both dance and possibly sing.
no, I was saying in real life that guy can get on with the ladies if he can sing and know
Oh,
how to
gotcha,
talk to them.
gotcha. Yeah,
So, and because they like that guy in real life, they try to create a character where that ultimately translates, where we're just a female equivalent of that same type of character that's basically saying, yes, you ugly or average looking woman, you know, your confidence will be attractive. Your confidence could get you
exactly.
in the game. And that is an interesting dynamic if saying that's what they were more or less trying to create with Suge Avery, because she was not pretty.
Exactly. Let's be
She
clear.
wasn't.
And it's not like all women in the 80s look like that. That's not true. You know, I was there and there were beautiful women in the 80s. They were girls, but nevertheless, we knew like Felicia Rashad was a human being. Pam Grier was a human being, like these people existed then.
Speaking
Robin
of them
Givens, like I said.
trying to put unrealistic stuff in a movie. Oh my dang it, I cannot remember what movie that is. But Gabrielle Sidibe rejected some Captain America looking dude. Dang it. Well, no, I can't even say he looked like Captain America. He was basically he was cast as the hot guy, and she was at a table with her friends. I gotta remember this movie, and if I could find the scene on YouTube, I will send it to you. You're gonna love it and probably make some content on it. Where
Oh
they
yeah,
had
yeah,
her,
probably will.
they had her reject a guy for some weird reason on some, she just had all the options in the world type stuff because she was just so confident. I got to figure out what movie that
Oh
was.
yeah, they try to do that with Gabrielle Sidibe. Fortunately, Gabrielle Sidibe off camera, she's a mystery and she keeps to herself and she don't participate in no Lizzo foolishness. So I leave her alone.
Oh
But yeah,
yeah, yeah. No, she was an actor playing a role. I mean, she got.
yeah,
I mean, it was,
yeah.
yeah. No, she's actually cool. I mean, okay. There are some jokes that will get thrown out there. I mean, that wedding picture with her arm looking like the size of her husband. I mean, it's some jokes there that's just writing themselves. So,
Uh-huh.
but overall, she's a decent person. She don't say nothing sideways or out the way or wrong to nobody. So yeah, I do try to lay off her. Literally.
Okay, so Alpha Omega is saying something.
Okay.
And he's saying Celie admits that she feels sexually attracted to and aroused by Shug Avery as opposed to Mr. Okay, here's the thing about that. That doesn't mean that she's attractive. Like here you have a person that comes out of nowhere and puts your tormentor in his place.
Oh yeah.
Makes him, if women are attracted to power, she is the epitome of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I mean, she can't help but be enamored by somebody like that.
Yeah. I mean, no,
Yeah,
that one was kind of obvious for me that was where her attraction. Even okay, one,
in the
two
movie
things.
too. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I was just about to say one. She could just be a lesbian or bisexual or whatever. That's one thing. The other
All
thing
women are.
was what?
All women are.
Yeah, fair enough. But I'm just saying it could be just that, or it could be what I naturally assumed it was, that wow, this woman came and subdued the person who was my oppressor, to use their language. She came and subdued him. Like if a woman is in an abusive relationship with a man, and then some other man come around and just whoop his ass,
Oh yeah, he
and
is
then
the
and
alpha.
yeah, and they all live in close proximity with each other. Put it, even if a woman is not in an abusive relationship with a man, and some man whoop his ass, and they live across the hall in an apartment, and she got to see this guy every day, she
Mhm.
gonna have some kind of attraction to him. He probably after whooping your ass, give it a week or two, he probably gonna be smashing your girl. Like if you get your ass whipped by somebody down the hall in the apartment, and you live with a woman, then either your woman got to move out, or you just move out, one or the other, because that's just gonna be bad.
Pretty much, yeah. So, and that's essentially what happened. Like, a psychological, ass whooping that she gave
Mm-hmm.
Mister, and now he's fixing her breakfast, which like, of course, should or Cely never seen anything like Mister in the kitchen, you know, acting like Alfred from Fresh Prince of Bel Air. She never seen no crap like that. Not Jeffrey from Fresh Prince of Bel Air.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, of course, there's going to be an attraction,
Yeah.
And then there's the whole, if I get on her good side, then she'll keep Mister in line. So
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, so it's definitely, it's obvious to see why she's so moist, and then also viewing how the other man's fawn over her, you know, making her everything that she essentially is, everything that Celie wants to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So you know, and apparently that translates for her into a sexual attraction.
Right.
All right. So yeah, this is some of that confidence crap. So if you see an ugly broad that's overconfident and black, chances are she's seen The Color Purple one too many damn times. And she think that that's gonna work on you. And they actually get surprised. They actually get surprised and mad at me when the crap don't work.
Yeah. We see that written all the time in a lot of movies, where female writers think that, yeah, I'm going to write this woman as confident. Actually, they do that in it was a movie with, dang, what's that pudgy white comedian who's kind of funny but not funny. She just mostly kind of just make vulgar kind of jokes. Is it Amy Schumer?
Roseanne?
Is that her? Amy Schumer?
Oh,
Does Amy?
Oh crap. Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Okay,
Yeah.
she was in a movie where it was some type of, I don't know, some type of spell or whatever that supposedly made her attractive, but really it didn't. It made her see herself as attractive. She thought everybody else saw her like that, but everybody else saw her as same old pudgy Amy Schumer.
Ah, like
But because
like Shallow Hal in reverse or something.
exactly. I,
Okay.
I wasn't sure how many people was familiar with Shallow Hal, so that's why I didn't throw it out. But I like Shallow Hal. But
Uh-huh.
but yeah, so long story short, yeah, she was still pudgy Amy Schumer walking around, but because she looked in the mirror and saw a hot chick, she went out there with confidence, and opportunities opened up for her. Guys were more into her. Like that was kind of the gist of the movie.
Holy crap! So they're doing that to white people too.
Apparently. I mean, yeah, this whole fat
Oh dear God,
acceptance,
no!
all this stuff, yeah, that's
It
yeah,
just
that's been
happened to
made.
us first. Yeah, we were
Yeah.
like, We're like the brothers in Vietnam. We're just the first on the front line of this crap.
Yeah.
Oh crap. That is off. Oh, you know something? It's always been like that. Like, why is Superman with Lois Lane? Like the plainest, whitest chick I've ever seen.
Super. Okay,
And
Lois
it's
Lane.
always like that. Peter Parker with Mary Jane. Like, I mean, wasn't there like a supermodel chick that was into Spider-Man? But he's like, oh no, I got to get Mary Jane. It's always something like very regular chicks who are deliberately regular. With Superman. If I was Superman, I would have like, suck my dick auditions.
Yeah. I guess he really settled into that the Clark Kent role that he played. That's where he fell for Lois Lane. So even as Superman, that was Clark Kent. That was Clark Kent that liked Lois Lane. He just
And Lois Lane wasn't even feeling him.
Lois Lane wasn't feeling Superman or Clark Kent.
Clark.
Yeah, okay. I thought you said it the other way around. But okay, yeah. I know. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I got my problems with Superman. I've talked about that, on the air plenty of times. Just so, in the movie, I think that was Justice League or whichever one that he died in, whichever one that Superman died in. It pissed me off to no end when they opened a newspaper. It said, on the front page, Superman died. Okay. You turn the page, and on the inside, in an unrelated story, news reporter Clark Kent also died in the nearby incident, because when the superheroes and villains fighting, they just destroying the whole city. So apparently Clark Kent died in the squirm, in all the explosions and everything. And I'm
with
like,
no body. Yeah, he was
yeah,
disintegrated. Yeah.
exactly. So on the front page, they got Superman face. Superman died. Turn the page. Clark Kent with the same damn face but with glasses on also died. I'm like, come on, man. That's why I just can't get past that with Superman. So I don't know. But
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. But the moral is they're doing it to white people too. Okay, so
Yeah.
I don't feel that's bad. I'll be honest. But now this part here, when I seen this as a kid, I said to myself, I am going to grow up and be a funny man. There was no funnier man on the planet, not Richard Pryor, not Bill Cosby. There was no funnier man on the planet than this little man here. I was laughing so hard, I did not know adults could be so funny. This was like, I think this was before I actually heard of Eddie Murphy. This was like ridiculously hilarious. The way this man talked, the fact that he's little, the just everything, the way he just comes to his son's house and he goes in on Suge Avery and he just said, you just wanted a roosters, boy. The fact that he said roosters, I knew when I seen this, that's my calling. I'm going to be a funny man. I don't know if I'm going to be tall. I don't know if I'm going to be handsome. I don't know if I'm going to be athletic. I don't know what I'm going to be, but I know I'm going to be funny. I know that for damn sure. Dude was hilarious. He just came over and roasted Suge. So first he comes in, he's like, you couldn't rest till you get her in your house, boy. He said, what's wrong with Suge? She ugly? And by the way, that made it clear. Remember when I said I was going to come back to it? How she was written that way? So it's clear to people who are not enamored by confidence. Like the father isn't. He's not one of those. You can't fool me with confidence. Do you think I'm in a juke joint or something? I know a ugly bitch when I see one. So he just right off the bat, like, she ugly, she nappy headed, she got legs like a baseball bat. Her own damn daddy don't have anything to do with her. I was dying. Why did he say legs like a baseball bat though? Like, what was that about? So
I gotta go back and rewatch this again, man. I'm looking at this in a new light. Like, this was the guy making sense in the movie.
You think?
I gotta give him a second watch. It's been a minute. I forgot about how much he was just killing it. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, he throughout the movie, you're sitting at the head of your own dinner table and you're acting like a
Mhm.
waiter.
I remember
I was
that.
like,
I
oh, go for it. Go for it.
oh no, I was just saying, yeah, I definitely remember that, but the roast session, I forgot about that. I forgot about that. Said Suge Avery had knees like baseball bats. Pablo.
She ugly. She nappy headed. Oh, because he roasted like that in A Soldier Story. This
I
man
ain't
is
see
a
that one.
classic roaster. He's just like a little light skinned dude that got into a fist fight with Denzel Washington and went around roasting people. Made him eat bananas. Like the way he talk is classic. So, and if you watch the movie, like in this scene here, him and his son do like a do-si-do, like they stare each other down,
Yeah,
like they're doing right
yeah.
now. They stare each other down, but he stares at his son, and then his son takes a seat. Like
Mm-hmm.
he stared him down. He's like he just it's funny. It's like he just stared him down,
Yeah.
and then he put his foot between his legs and said, "You couldn't rest till you got her in your house, boy." I was like, "Oh wow." I was like, "This is spectacular. I love this guy." And then he said something. He was like, "Why she ain't even clean. Plus, I hear she got that nasty woman's disease." I was dying. When I was just a little boy, I was dying. He said she got that nasty woman's disease.
And I don't even know what the nasty woman disease of 1925 was.
It was all of them. It was like chlamydia. Like, and I don't think that they had like a cure for it with some warts. Like, I think that's what it was. She got that nasty woman's disease. Sip a clap. Like she got,
Sip a clap.
she got the nasty woman's. And then, yeah, exactly. He was the only red pill. He was the only real one. Notice how his wife didn't get deleted by his wife's boyfriend.
Yeah.
And he didn't have to like raise his hand, just like he didn't raise his hand to his son to sit him down. He was that dude. He was that dude in this movie. And dang, this part is classic. So, Cely come with the water, and then after roasting her, and before he drank the water, he thought of another thing. He was like, plus all her children got different daddies. I was like, dang, you didn't even drink your water. You just like, I got some more. I got some more. I'm gonna rip your side piece some more. I'm not done yet. Plus, her children got all different daddies. Now, once again, Mr. is Albert for this chick.
Mm-hmm.
He was Albert before this. Like, I mean, he is Alberting for some single mama, like these modern simps be. Y'all know who y'all are. Y'all know who y'all are. Like these modern simps be out, Alberting for I'm gonna call you simps Albert. So they be Alberting for these single mamas.
Mm-hmm.
He said, plus all her children got different daddies. And then Mr. tried to get some balls about him and say, all their children got the same daddy. I could vouch for. You can vouch for nothing. He said, I'll never forget this. Suge Avery set the population of Hotwell County a new high.
Oh man.
Suge Avery set the population of Hotwell County a new high. You just one of the Ristas, boy. I was dying.
Oh
I was like,
man.
that's him. That's him. When I grow up, that's me. That's who I'm gonna be. Like, just roasting. Just roasting when roasting is needed. He said he shut him quick. Like, don't pretend like you that dude. You do not know where this chick what's been in this chick.
Yeah.
Called her a juke joint Jezebel. He
Damn.
went off. He went off.
Oh man. He had all the lines of the day right in juke joint Jezebel. God damn.
This man came from up top the hill and roasted his son's hoe. I was like, man, I gotta be him when I grow up. Yes, exactly. He was the only real one in the movie. Salute to Mr.'s dad. He was the only real one in this movie. He was the real one in A Soldier Story. You know, he was just the real one. So, and look at his hat.
Yeah.
You know, quick side story. I seen an old man roast my homie just like that one day, and I couldn't help it. I was cracking up because my partner, he couldn't do nothing but respect his elders, but it was a roast just like that, right? I was in LA over my other partner's house, over my other partner's grandpa house, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was the two of us. We visited a friend in LA, and he's from back east. I'm not going to say where. And as you know, it don't snow in LA. So and it don't snow where I grew up either. It don't snow in Oakland either. And we was watching the news, and it was like a place in the world that was snowed in, and they showed the snow like stacked above cars and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the snow was like 7 feet high. So I asked the OG, I was like, hey, what do they do? What do the kids do about school when it snow like that? Do they have to make up the days in summer? Or are they just less educated than us? Right. And my partner chimed in because he's from the east, and he said, no, they make him go to school anyway. OG roasted him. It's like, shut your dumb ass up, boy. You're making a fool of yourself. I was just standing, I was sitting there like holy crap, he's just roasted. He just roasted him like, you know, percent. I don't know if it's stupid. I never lived in snow. I don't know what's going on, but he knew that it wasn't that, and he roasted him for saying something that he felt was stupid.
Yeah.
So that's how OGs be.
Mm-hmm.
So salute to him. But anyway, um, through all the roasting, he does bring up the question, what is it about her?
Mm-hmm.
And Mister's response was, you don't have it in you to understand.
Wow.
He loves Suge Avery. He should have married her when he had the chance. That's confidence. That is what they're trying to sell these broads. That you could just make a man confused and bewildered while he's with your ugly ass. Why he turns into Albert for your ugly ass. Like, that's the fantasy that they're selling these broads.
Mm.
And when he said to Pops, you don't have it in you to understand. You damn right he don't have it in him to understand.
Right.
It's like, why are you simping for this ugly ass broad? He does, this man do not have it in him to, no real man, no real non Albert man have it in them to understand no crap like that.
Yeah. No, that's true. That's true. And I'm looking at it in a different light right now because
What do you
again,
feel like? Yeah.
I didn't look at it from the perspective that he's asking a legitimate question. What is it that you see in her? Because he's seeing what we either saw directly or subconsciously saw, even as kids. Like I said, I looked at her and said, she's not that attractive for her to be
Mhm.
the contrast to Cely. Like she was presented as the contrast, but it really was no difference.
Agreed.
So yeah, it's like so they're basically saying this chick that's not attractive, but she got confidence, and all the men want her, and the only man that don't see what it is in her is this person who they try to depict as the awful man. Like, you think Mister is bad, wait till you meet his dad. Like, that's what they was really trying to do. They didn't
Yeah, he's
realize
the
they made
ultimate bad guy, but to
yeah
me,
yeah. They didn't realize they made they made a new fan favorite for people watching it with fresh eyes around here. But
yeah, he
yeah,
is the new idol. Exactly.
so yeah, him saying you don't have it in you to see it. It's like, yeah, he's not falling to the dictates of one, the bad female writing where they think they could just write an ugly chick with confidence and dude's gonna like her. One,
Uh-huh.
he's not falling for that, but it also can be read between the lines of it's something clearly simpish in Mister, in his life. You made the distinction between the two characters, Albert, because she calls him Albert. He was Albert before he was Mister. Is something very simpish in there that a woman would, who who raised the population. A woman with the nasty,
Doug
a
Avery
woman
done
with
raised the population of Hotwell County a new high.
yeah, the person who raised that population a new high with the nasty woman disease could show up
Legs like baseball bats.
could show up old and not looking good, a passed
Drunk.
out, belligerent drunk, and he still love her.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, like that's something right there that they're saying. But even the man worse than him can't find nothing in this woman. But even the worst of men, they try to they're creating certain dynamics that if you don't pay attention to it, you won't catch it. But I can
Exactly.
see the
It's the
dynamics of it.
brainwash. It's the
Yeah,
brainwash
yeah.
bitches and bitch niggas. That's what it's doing. That's what Alice Walker intention was. And that's why you have so many of these brainwash Albert dudes, particularly in the South, getting with these, let's just call them subpars.
Just think about it. In any other equation, Suge would have been, the villain in the story,
Right.
considering that, this was Cely's husband. So this is the side chick, the hoe or
Yeah.
whatever, that just came up in her house. Like this awful man who's already beaten her, brought his mistress into the house and put her in the bed and taking good care of her. Like,
Mm.
this was supposed to be, in any other movie, this would be like, the breaking point, like where Cely just like, enough is enough. I got to figure out a way to try to get out of this. He got her here, I'm gone.
Mhm.
But no, they made her a hero in the story, which is an interesting spin to put on it. But now you're giving light to part of the reasoning as to why. But in the book, again, it was a lot of lesbian stuff going on in the book, so that part right there. But
Okay, so let's fast forward to like today and Hot Girl Summer and what's Sexy Red? Who's the other chick? I'm gonna get my uh pussy stretched. Who's that chick?
Sukihana, yeah.
Sukihana, like fast forward to today. Why are all these bras marrying Suge Avery's character? Because it was championed. They're all just their own different version of Suge Avery, hypersexualized, sapphire, juke joint Jezebels, that as long as they get attention and not too attractive, by the way. I mean, I don't find, either of the women, I don't know what Hot Girl Summer look like, or even if that's a person or a description, but um, but these are not like pageant winners by far. But they just exude this slutty Suge Avery confidence, and I guess dudes are supposed to fawn over it, and I get being excited by easy opportunity or what appears to be easy opportunity, but it's not that. It's something that they're brainwashed to think that that we're supposed to Albert to these chicks.
Yeah.
They like these women are walking around like, listen, if you are not sexy red, then you'll get a Mister. If you are sexy red, you'll get an Albert.
Mm.
Is essentially what they're
Wow.
saying. And that's why they act like this. That's why these broads act like this. All these chicks are all modern women were born after this movie was made, so they all seen it.
God damn, that was good.
Yeah.
The chick that act like Cely walking around with her head down, you get Mr. the man that's abusing you.
Mm-hmm.
But if you loud, boisterous, and got that nasty, that nasty lady disease,
Which I'm pretty sure Sexy Red has.
even a man like Mr. will simp for you and drink your bath water and so yeah, that is interesting.
Even if you're ugly. So yeah, that's what this movie has sold to a generation of black women. And black men even, bought the sauce, that's why, before the word attitude, they used to call it like sassy or saucy or
Mm-hmm.
some spunk, or whatever crap,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, positive spin they could put on the word obnoxious bitch, they put on it.
Yeah.
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 So in closing, he drank Cely's spit and I think it was lemonade or water or something. And I guess that was like I can't stand scenes like that.
I wanted to point out that it is interesting that Cely and Mr. kind of teamed up on that one. You know what I mean? It's
Cely
like,
should.
I mean, well, no, I'm talking about how Cely's, spit in the cup. Like, well, okay, the dad was disrespecting Suge, so I'm sure she spit in the cup on behalf of Suge,
Yeah.
not on behalf of his disrespect towards Mr.
Albert.
So it is an interesting dynamic there as well. That she don't like Mr., but she ain't, as far as we can tell, she ain't never done nothing. We didn't see her spit in Mr. Cup not one time.
Good point. Good point.
But his cup got spit in, but it was on behalf of Suge, not Mr. So there's that.
Yeah, so she would do it in defense of herself, or excuse me, she would do it in defense of Suge, but not herself. That's interesting.
Exactly, yeah.
Because she values Suge more than herself, because Suge is that chick. And if you want to be that chick, then you walk around with this slutty confidence.
Mm-hmm.
But so he drank the spit. I hate stuff like that. Like, do you really think you're getting your get back with somebody drink your spit? I think that they all know. Like, there was a movie called The Help where
yeah, I know.
Yeah. And I'm like, you think they give a damn? If that was me, I would just know. Like, I would eat the pie. Like, listen, I know what this was in this pie, but at the end of the day, I'm white. So I get everything else that comes with being white. And every now and again, I got to eat some spit. Like, I mean,
okay. Now, what happened in The Help was on the extreme end of that, but
Agreed.
you raise a good point when you say that the white people back then who had black servers, working in their house, who they probably treated like crap, they knew that their drink was being spat in, just like that if you disrespect the person handling your food at a fast food restaurant, you might get a pube or something in your burger, like
exactly.
So that's actually that's actually funny if the white people back then kind of made their peace with the fact that, ooh, given the way we treat black people, y'all know that we be swallowing they spit every time we drink a cup that they hand to us, but we just made our peace with it, and we just gonna swallow they spit. Yeah, that's
like
funny.
At the end of the day, I get to use the good toilet inside. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's just like that. Like, what, you think you're doing something? If it makes you feel better, go ahead and spit on it. It still tastes like lemonade, and you are in the outhouse. So yeah, and my kids are going to Harvard. Bye.
Yeah,
is essentially what they're saying.
Yeah.
So, and I think that that's probably like, it's like, you're not doing anything, Cely. You're not doing anything to this guy because he is that dude.
Yeah.
So, so now this is the scene, he's there, he's happy. The dudes are hanging off the ceiling, like, I'll drink your bath water, type deal, which is disgusting. And it didn't make sense. I mean, she did look better. I don't have a picture, but she did look better, all dolled up and stuff. But
Yeah.
then again, Cely would too. So, there's that. But it was too much. He's really too into this chick. He really should listen to his father. Oh, I forgot to mention on the last slide, because you was asking before about why did he approve of Harpo, and the reason was because Harpo was doing the same thing that he wanted to do with Suge,
Right.
and he was acting like his father, but he couldn't go all the way with it because he's not his father. He's Albert. So he didn't want to be like his father and deny Harpo, his Suge Avery, which is stupid. Your father, listen to your daddy, you know.
Yeah. Well, real quick, Father Nancy, I think I said that right,
Mhm.
makes a really good point down there where he says, similar to civil rights restaurant sit-ins, I wouldn't eat that food they gave me.
Yeah.
I just now thought about how messed up that was, that they are fighting life and limb to sit down at a restaurant so somebody can spit and put pubes on a damn chili dog. Like, what the hell? Like, you know good and well, if they didn't want you to even be able to sit at that counter, like, why?
Yeah.
Why? Why bother? Just no. Segregation ain't, desegregation ain't that important. You just forget to be just eating people putting little shit crumbs in your salad. Like, no, it ain't, that wouldn't worth it.
Well, okay.
Let's stay segregated. Let's just stay segregated.
I'll look at it like this. I don't think that and trust me, this is from somebody who was born well after that. But so hindsight. But I would just leave private industry alone. If you want to have your white only pies, then by all means have your white only pies. I would leave that alone. But the bus policy, it's like, no, this is a public thing and I'm paying just as much for the ticket. This
Oh
is
no,
not.
agreed right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's something that taxpayers fund and we pay taxes, then yeah, that gotta be equal. Yeah.
It's like
Or
the
just open
benches,
for
the water
everybody. Yeah.
fountains. It's like, whoa. This is a government thing. This is a whole different can of worms. Who Cletus wants to serve pies to, I think you're messed up. Maybe I'll prove you wrong in the future, but if you really don't want me there, I don't want to be there. So, yeah, I do think they should have just left those pie places alone, and focused on the public services.
Agreed. 100%. 100%.
Grandma told me that my dad had to that she took my dad home right when he was born because the nursery at the hospital was white only.
Mm.
And I'm thinking, like, and keep in mind, I didn't grow up in the South. My dad did, partially, but I didn't. I'm thinking, like, that's real petty. I wouldn't even thought of that. I wouldn't even thought that they so petty and messed up that they didn't want a black baby next to a white baby.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So they was on some for real ish. But once again, that's a public service. That's a hospital.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the local diner. Leave those local diner people. Well, pick your battles. Pick your battles. That's how I look at that.
Yeah.
Which is why you got places like Harpo's Juke Joint. I don't know what when I was a kid, the term juke joint was like, I thought that grown-ups still went to stuff like that. And maybe they do, they just call them clubs and stuff, but
Yeah.
But I'm talking about like everything, the whole ambiance where you got the people hanging off the ceiling. Like you had people hanging off the ceiling talking about I drink your bath water and stuff to get a better look at Suge. Like, yeah, I thought it was that. And but yeah, I just did this scene because it really shows Mister's infatuation with Cely. Oh, that's why I did this scene. because dang, did I capture that? No, I didn't capture it. But the look on his face when she did that sister song
Mm-hmm.
really shows that from Alex Haley, or not Alex Haley, my bad, from Alice Walker's point of view, black men fear sisterhood.
Yeah, that's clearly what was trying to be
Yeah.
conveyed there.
And quite frankly, I don't think the actor knew it. I think that he gave that look more like, this is awkward that my wife is becoming close to my side piece. This is awkward. But now he has another woman that's cheating on him in a very real way.
Oh, didn't look at it like that.
Yeah. No, I just thought of it just now, like, you know. Because I mean, he made it a point to keep other people away from Cely, or Cely away from other people, probably because of, you know, the first slide. You know, he made it a point to keep her isolated on the land, and but he brought Suge in, which from his standpoint was the worst thing that he could have done, and you know, now it's getting awkward. The sisterhood. They fear the sisterhood. So she was about to leave with Suge, but she didn't have the confidence. You know, she was scared to ask Suge to go with her, and rightly so, because Cely don't really understand the alpha beta dynamic. You know, she don't. The beta is there to provide for the alpha, not the other way around. And which is what it would have been had, you know, had Suge taken Cely on the road, a woman who's groomed for, you know, rural domestic life, not on the road musician life. Like, what does she do? Like, you know. So I think she realized that, and that's why she didn't ask that, in fear of reprisal, like years and years of psychological, you know, um, um, messing with that began with the that began here with the first smack.
Right.
So I think that that's why she paused and didn't ask, which give credence to what I was suggesting before. Had he not smacked her, she would have left. Or maybe she wouldn't have had a reason to leave. You know, it's hard to say, you know?
Right. Right. That's all roads lead back to that Marty McFly moment that he had right there. Like, had he, I mean, not Marty McFly, but George McFly moment, you know, had he not risen to the occasion, had he not risen to the occasion and smacked her when she defied him, everything would have been different. She would have been just like his first wife.
Yeah. Yeah. She would have eventually been, you know, she eventually would have been this confident being that eventually turned him into Albert and Harpo. Dang, it is raining real bad out here. All right, hold on. All right, we got a few more to go. Oh, how did that happen? Okay. Give me a second. Okay. So yeah, so they talked about that, and that's one of my favorite scenes. But I'm gonna do that when I cover other characters, mainly Squeak and Sophia. You know. So that happened. All right. Now this is something that's interesting that happened. I wish I had a face shot of dude. So she's in the city long enough, and then out of nowhere comes this light skinned dude.
Mm-hmm.
Now, by this time, it does seem as if Mister's pimp hand had weakened.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't seem like he was like, it seemed like just from their chemistry when they were gathering the clothes together, like, she was like, "You're in my way." She was tapping him out the way and stuff. It does seem like he let up. Like, like, listen, you know, it's been decades, and you're not combing a little girl. You're not getting out of line ridiculously. There's really no need for all that. So he calmed down. It definitely seemed like that was the case. They both leave the place happy to see Suge. Suge is, there with the hat, and she got some light skinned dude, handsomer than she is pretty. And, he seems like he's a childless dude with a nice fancy car that probably had options, but he picked the chick that set the population of Hotwell County a new high.
And she got the nasty lady disease.
And she got the nasty woman's disease. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, and keep in mind, we're talking about during a time where guys just drove up on a farm and asked the dude to marry their daughter and gave him a cow or some crap. Like, it seemed like that was the times that he lived in. But instead of doing that, he winds up with Suge Avery.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, it's because she's what?
Confident.
Exactly. Confident gets you a yellow Cadillac. Or is that a Jaguar?
I don't know.
Yeah, nor do I. But yeah, it gets you a shiny yellow car. Confidence.
A lot of people didn't realize this movie was actually it was a subtle message in there by, obviously with the person who wrote it, given what we know about her. Not a big shock, but it was a subtle message in there, but maybe not so subtle. Not so subtle of a message that yes, the confident hoe who was wild and out of line and defied her pastor of a father,
Mhm.
who did everything that they say is the wrong way. That's the one who win and again and in the end and get a nice well-dressed light-skinned man with money. And the woman
and he got
who
the pomade in the hair.
I was about to say good hair, but I wasn't 100% sure if he had good hair or not. But
I think it's processed. Yeah, I think he got that.
Either way, and the silent, don't speak up for yourself, woman. The submissive woman, the woman that falls in line. Well, these are your outcomes. You get stuck there, held captive, and abused by Mister. So go out there and be a hoe and live it up, and you'll be rewarded. Like it's like those messages are in there.
Exactly. You know how Tupac says thug life? This is Alice Walker's way of saying thought life. Exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Like, you get all the benefits of, like, what could possibly go wrong? If your father hates you, he'll eventually forgive you because, confidence. And for whatever reason, your old dude gets along with your new dude, and the light skinned dude is painting yellow faced Easter eggs.
I don't remember what this comment.
For
I remember
whatever
they was
reason.
laughing and they was laughing and just having a good time. And I think I know an egg or something got crashed on somebody's head or something like that. I don't remember.
They did a toast with the eggs and it smashed the egg, and but the conversation went as follows. Mister, we had the best. You had her your way, and I had her mine. But we had her, and they both laugh.
Yeah.
And then, yeah. So basically, he's sitting there smiling and grinning with the dude that smashed his wife about how he smashed his wife.
Yeah.
Yep. While living in the dude's house. And he's possibly still smashing his wife. I think at this point, it is highly likely that Suge Avery is fucking every adult in this house. A man, his wife, and her own husband.
Yeah.
And instead of her getting mad about this, they're all toasting with a unhard-boiled Easter egg. Thought that was strange too, because maybe that's just a me thing or my family thing. But didn't y'all hard boil your Easter eggs?
I've never seen a raw Easter egg.
Yeah. Okay.
If it's a raw Easter egg, that's like a hell of a prank that I never thought of that needs to get in circulation. That's a good prank, really.
Yeah.
To make an unboiled Easter egg.
So they just weird. They just sitting there painting unboiled Easter eggs for whatever reason. Maybe they don't want to fry it afterwards. Who knows? But yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is the power of confidence, according to this movie. And the B-Dub ran with it. They felt that they needed no other virtue other than confidence, and that will get you, the light-skinned dude, the wealthy farm owner, and his wife.
Oh man.
So by this time, Suge Avery checks the mail because she's that chick and her confidence. What Mr. gonna do? She's confident. So she goes and checks the mail, find out about the sister that she's been writing all these years, and now Cely is upset. She got the knife and she got Mr.'s throat right there, and it was about to go down.
Yeah.
Now, at this time, Mr. did give her a fresh one, a fresh smacking. And it was different than the first smack. This was the last smack that he gave her. It was different than the first smack because this one was where he put his left hand over his, his right hand over his left shoulder and then extended regularly outward. So this one, she got the back of the hand.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that one. So yeah, it was a clean smack, and she hadn't had one in a while, and it was while she was reading one of her sister's things, so she was distracted. It just kind of came out of nowhere.
Describing the smack like, okay, it was a right hand over the left shoulder. It was a clean smack. Give it. How many stars?
No, I don't give it a star. I'm just saying it was a different type of smack. It was,
you're giving it 4 stars. I do like you scoring the smacks. It sounds like
Yeah.
No? Okay.
This right. It was different. He smacked her different this time, But nevertheless, it was a smack, and this is when she sped up with it. Mm-hmm. So, which brings us to the dinner. Now, I know that there's something you want to talk about in the dinner, but come to the show where I go over Squeak's character.
Right.
And yeah, and because I'm definitely saving it for that. But this is the dinner where Cely has gotten confident.
Mm-hmm.
And then he turns into Albert again because of Cely's confidence. So apparently confident is like the masses whip. It's what keep Negro in line. It's black woman's, whip, which is different than every other woman's whip. But you ever notice how white man could get P whipped, but we get C whipped? Like we get confident with, according to black women.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so now she got her confidence and she's standing up to Mr. and he's just sitting there, acting like a waiter at his own dinner table. And then the father comes again. Salute to the dad. Salute to Papa. Salute to Papa. You're sitting at the head of your own dinner table, boy, and you're acting like a waiter. So then Albert comes, and I call him Albert. He comes back with, you ugly, you nappy head. She got spunk, and spunk is confidence. What you got, you ain't got nothing. And I think, and this goes back to my original question, why did he pick her? I think he did that not for the cow, but because she was the chick that couldn't leave. Like if it ever came down to it, if the smacking wasn't enough and all that, at the end of the day, you ugly. Meaning that you're less likely to cheat because fewer guys want to sleep with you. I think that was the real reason that guided his decision, as opposed to actually, giving a dowry for a fertile, prettier woman. I think that's what it really boiled down to. So if it ever came to it, then he would be he would have something, because he couldn't use that on Netty unless she grew up to be ugly. So he couldn't use that on Suge because even though she's not an attractive woman, she is still able to attract men just by virtue of confidence. There's still like a whole bunch of bathwater drinking niggas like that's lined up for her.
Right. Yeah.
So, he wanted that trump card and he played it now. Now, the result of that trump card is this. Now, look at this type of slap. Look at this type of slap that he was preparing. And notice that his fingers is open.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the reason for the open fingers is because when you close fingered smack, what happens is you develop a pocket of air, which makes it less swift. It has like a parachute effect on the hand. You get wind resistance depending on the speed of the smack. So to eliminate some of the, you know how like the old parachutes were just regular plain parachutes, but the new ones have like a vent at the top of the parachute?
Yeah.
That's so it's less resistance and it could go down faster. So the reason why he's opening his fingers on this particular smack is to reduce the air resistance on her fan on his hand, so he could get more hand smackiness on her face. Also, notice how his left shoulder is inward.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what does that mean? That means that he is going to twist his shoulder in, kind of like a punch, kind of like like how boxers punch.
Yeah, that's how they train. That's how they train boxers.
Yeah, exactly. So he's going to use various different forms of rotation in this. He's using the rotation of his hip, the rotation of his shoulders, and the rotation of his arms. So right here, he was going for the perfect slap. The perfect slap, Bernard. But she put up her 3 fingers. I know you only see 2, but she has her thumb out too. And he stops. Now, why do you think he stopped?
Going with the theme we've been talking about, because confidence, but more or less, it was, she stood up to him. She just had the courage to stand up, and that was enough to neutralize his attack.
Wow. So she put those 3 fingers up and her confidence just stopped him mid smack. And that's why these chicks are walking around like confidence is Robitussin. Like it just cures everything. This is cure what ails you. You need to confidence,
Yeah.
So yeah.
Question about the smack. When you open your fingers with the smack for better wind resistance, do you close? Do you close the fingers upon arrival?
Yes, you do. Kind of like with the punch. How when they teach you to fight, or when your dad or your boxing coach or someone teach you to punch, you twist it as you connect.
Yeah.
So you start out with your thumb pointing to the ground or something, and then you twist it as you connect. It's just like that. It's just like that. You close it as you connect.
Yeah. Just learned something about slapping people that I did not know. Did
So
not know
yeah,
that.
I mean, I have no. This was yeah,
Hello?
yeah.
Oh no,
He
yeah,
was
like
going for the perfect smack. This was going to be the. Wait,
yeah,
say
you
that
keep
again.
going out a little bit. No, you can't. You was going out a little bit. I think
Yeah,
you
it's
might
raining.
be good
It's
now.
raining kind of hard here, so sorry about that. But
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
um, but yeah, no. This would have Bernard. This would have been the perfect smack.
Yeah.
So yeah, but she stopped him with her confidence. She stopped him with her confidence. She said, "I curse you." Now let's talk about the curse.
Yeah.
This
That makes me
curse is
wonder.
go for it.
Go ahead. No, I was just saying it made me wonder, was it like some voodoo in the book and anything like that? Because that was
It
kind of out of nowhere. But the fact that they had the two fingers stop him in his tracks, and
and
then
the
she said
thumb
something about
three.
and the thumb, yeah,
Yeah.
stop him in his tracks, and she said something about cursing him. It does make me wonder, was it more to that they I mean, just her, Suge, and black women being in them tarot cards and all kind of stuff. It makes me wonder. Makes me
Yeah.
wonder, was there some voodoo going on here?
Well, remember when they was digging through his stuff looking for the letters, they did
Mm-hmm.
find some snake oil.
Ah,
So which means that he does have a sense of superstition to him. They don't really
mm-hmm.
talk much about it, but he does. Um, Maybe he actually believed it. That's why he's like, you can't curse nobody. Like, I don't think anybody can actually curse somebody, but you can't curse nobody was
Yeah.
his reaction to what was going on there. But when he seen it, it's like, oh, maybe she can curse. But and she actually did. See, but she didn't curse him. She cursed us.
Yeah.
Fellas, listen to me and listen to me good. If you are a black man, you are suffering from the curse of the modern black bitch. You are now suffering from the curse of the modern black bitch. We are cursed with a group of Suge Averys. We're cursed. This is a
Yeah. Wait,
curse.
hold on for a second, GC. I gotta step away for 2 minutes. Hold on.
Yeah, no worries. But this is a curse. And all of you experience it. And I know that some of you have like white wives and stuff like that, but your mama, but your sister, the ones you grew up with, somehow you are affected by this curse. And not only that, your daughter has to live in the world with a bunch of Suge Averys that look somewhat like her. It is a curse. This curse is a real thing, and it has been placed upon each of us. Moving forward. Now, and I hate to see him like this, but Papa is getting old. But when he did, he gave Albert some last bit of wisdom in the form of, you need to put these chickens in a coop before they lay eggs over all the damn place. But before he gave that wisdom, he says you need to get yourself a new gal. And that's what it really should boil down to. Like, when you take all the crap away, if first you don't succeed, then you try again. I mean, what else could he do? But instead, he decides to, I don't know, beg Cely, which means he's Alberting himself to another chick. I like the Papa. All right. This part is interesting. And this
All
is
right,
what
wait, hold on, real quick. I'm back. I forgot. Just real briefly. I forgot what happened in this scene. I don't even remember this one.
In this scene, this was the scene where he came and he said, well, I guess I just raised you wrong. She's like, oh, how's that, Pop? And he was like, well, look at you. The fields untended and all this stuff. He just went down a list of how fucked up his son's life is.
Mm-hmm.
you know, and quite frankly, it is because of his bizarre attraction to confident women. You know, so the father is right. Papa is always right. Like, your life is a mess because of your attraction to confident women. Let's be clear. You know, you're unable to, confidence is just the illusion of a value.
Yeah.
You
So
know,
in short, his life would be in order if he didn't have that. If he wouldn't still hung up on Suge
Suge
Avery,
Avery, yeah.
who the dad rightfully sized up that she, what the hell you see in her, boy, so yeah, and that's what basically led to him being like this. It's also messaging in there that these men, without the woman there, they everything just fall apart. They can't do nothing without us. It is a lot of that,
Yeah,
built in there too, but also
but
the
it's
whole,
true.
yeah.
But it's on both sides, but the women seem to like, the writers seem to just like invent ways. Like, she just so happened to inherit a fortune out of nowhere afterwards,
Right. Because yeah, if they didn't give her some plot armor, as they call it.
Yeah.
They would, yeah, she her life probably would have been a mess without him as well. But her out of his life becomes a mess. She get out of his life, then
Everything works
you know
fine. Yeah.
yeah,
Just
everything
like with
works
the
fine.
sister, the sister got out of the life and, just plot armor, oh, we was just on our way to Africa. And here's your niece and nephew.
Yeah.
Like, that's a hell of a plot armor.
Yeah.
You know, here's your niece and nephew and some money for some international stamps. Like, what a
Mm-hmm.
coincidence. You know how to read. We're looking for a young lady that knows how to read.
Right.
Like, that's, yeah, it's too perfect. So yeah, but they're basically saying, winter is not going to come for you. It's going to come for him. Um, while you sit in your perfect field of of purple flowers, you know, listen to Suge Avery sing "Sister." Like,
Yeah.
that will be your life, but Mister will have chickens that lay eggs all over the damn place. Now, what do you think of the father's advice to get him another young gal?
Um, yeah, that's a suitable advice. I don't
Yeah.
know how I don't know how it worked back then. Obviously, older men got them some young gals back then. I didn't know if there was I don't know if there's a cutoff point. I don't know how, if you, I take it there was an age where you could be too old, pulling up on somebody saying, if you older, you significantly older than the dads, and I'd like to take your daughter's hand in marriage. It probably was a cutoff point. It probably
Um.
was.
Well, I think at that point you're looking at like other widowed women.
You're looking at like if you his age, let's just say he's what, 60. I mean, people looked old back then. I mean, he might have been 58, but
And
but let's just give him
they
like
had
60.
kids when they were a lot younger. So Harpo's age really,
Yeah, so let's just give him 68. You probably find you like a 40-year-old widow. That's a young hot
Well,
thing
yeah.
for you back then.
Well, I think that you're looking for functionality at that point, like somebody
Mm-hmm.
who could manage, a kitchen full of young women who actually do stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I think that that's what he's going for. You remember on Django when Calvin was introducing his sister to Kane, the doctor. I think it's
Yeah.
kind of like that. I think that that's how older people like found each other. He was like, "This is my lovely widowed sister." Bernadine Calvin Fitzwillie. And he was like, he's like, "Hey, you're a white guy and she's a widow, just saying."
Yeah.
So I think it was something like that for guys his age. Or shit, I mean, like, maybe dudes just like, "Hey, I get some inheritance real quick."
Yeah.
Like, telling the daughter, like, "Listen, you're 14 now, by the time you're 24, you'll be rich."
Or sooner. I mean, people didn't live that long back then. Yeah, so yeah, no, that,
Yeah, sure.
yeah, go on and tell your daughter, take one for the team so the family can inherit all this. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see that.
So I mean, and actually Harpo would probably get it, but still, he would leave her with something.
Well, it kind of depends. I mean, in some places, I don't know how it worked back then, if I was writing something up but hell, even today, there's been plenty of situations, and a lot of people it has come to violence or got settled in court where some new wife basically just took all the kids' inheritance, legacy, and everything the daddy worked for, and she could give two shits about them. Like
Yeah.
that has happened. I mean, and yeah, I mean, she married him, and she inherited, but that's yeah, you cutthroat if you just not looking at the dynamics of it and say, okay, this man has amassed all of this. Yeah, selfishly, okay, yeah, you gonna keep your piece of it, but if you just gonna keep it all from the kids, that's like
Well, I mean, I think it's the plot armor because like the one dude, her stepdad, and they was like, how he die on top of me. I think that, that was common because guys married so young, are guys married to younger women.
Yeah.
But she got the money and she was happy with that. She was like, oh, this is yours and yours and Netty's.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay,
So,
yeah.
left her with the property and left the chick with the money, and everybody seemed happy with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah. But yeah, so the dad is giving him advice, sound advice, because he's like, listen, at least clean this place up, and hire, in addition to hiring some girls for the kitchen, because that's essentially what you're doing. I don't think he's really, Viagra wasn't invented. I don't think he's really trying to get down like that. I don't think he's trying to do his business like that.
Yeah.
He's just looking for a clean household, a clean home, and some young man that, because he's not working the field like that either anymore. And that's why you don't get with barren chicks for this day alone. And yeah, so he's setting, he's just giving the best advice he can give him at this point. Like, hey, start over again. I know you don't want to start over again, but you got to start over again. These are the breaks. This is what happens when you trot after Suge Avery's of the world. When you get with the tree, I told you when you was young not to get with a broad like that.
Yeah.
You get with a chick with the values, with a value system that's similar to yours, that works with yours. But you out on some juke joint fantasies. So he told him not to marry Suge Avery, but he married another Suge Avery type woman. And then, then after that, he married a woman who's nothing like Suge Avery until he allowed Suge Avery to influence her to be like Suge Avery.
Yeah.
And now look at him. But I guess he just raised them wrong. Now this scene. So, he's dealing with, oh dang, I missed a very important scene. Hold on. Where was it? Did I copy that? Hold on.
You might just have to describe. Well, no, you might probably find it.
No, I think I did miss it. Oh crap. Okay, so the scene in question was the scene where Sophia gets home from jail, and she goes, and the family is there, and Harpo's there, and they're going to celebrate Christmas, and Miss Millie is trying to drive, and they barely get in, and everybody is there but Mister. So you're right. They need to be some type of origin stories. How come he's not allowed in his own grandkids' Christmas?
Oh, see, now I never even thought about, like, okay, so that was, hold on, whose house did you say that was at?
Well, okay, it likely was Harpo's house.
Okay.
Harpo and Squeak. But why isn't he invited to his own sons and grandkids' Christmas? I mean, see, even still, he shouldn't be alone. You see what I'm saying with that?
Right.
I found that weird. I found that very weird that, it seemed like Harpo was icing him out for no reason. Like even in the following scene, Harpo was over at Cely's house and not Mister's house. It's like, is he that bad of a person? Was he that bad of a father? Because, really like it seemed like Harpo's whole childhood was Mister telling Cely the boy be needing his supper.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and they really didn't show, I mean, like he didn't use the special slaps on Harpo, at least not that we seen.
Right.
Harpo was on some Jar Jar Binks stuff, and he was really, patient with him.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, Harpo just turned on him. So yeah, I don't like that. But then again, he turned on it. Like, I mean, his father wasn't really there for anything either. So I don't know. But once again, let's remember this was written by a Black woman.
Mm-hmm.
And for whatever reason, I don't know if they're trying to promote this way of thinking or it already existed, but it does seem like part of the curse, the wedge between father and son. Because notice how on Waiting to Exhale, when he just randomly left Angela Bassett for a white woman.
Yeah.
The daughter, she was still daddy's girl, but the son was a mama's boy, and he had this obvious disdain for the father.
Right.
And that's part of the curse. We'll turn your sons against you. And in my opinion, what's your thoughts on
that? Yeah, see this part, that's my first time thinking about that. Like, it's so much stuff in this movie that's sort of embedded into the writing that you don't catch until you really look at it. And so I'm sitting here trying to get the picture. Now, I told myself I don't need to rewatch it before we do this, but I knew I should have.
Well, I was going to go in depth.
I mean, well, we went in depth talking about this, but we never did a slide by slide thing with it. But we didn't talk about this a lot. So so that part that I didn't know. I wish I would have I wish I had that scene more fresh, ready in my head. Because
I'm about to do a screenshot of it right now. I got the movie.
Okay, perfect. Because that scene is not fresh in my head. Because he's saying they were at Harpo. They were at Harpo's house. And so yeah, so him and Miss Sophia wasn't together at this time. Right?
Yeah, he was with Squeak, and Squeak was pregnant.
He was with Squeak. Squeak is pregnant. And yeah, so it seemed like no legitimate reason. But hold on, in the timeline in the movie, this was when Cely had already left. Oh, this was
no. Cely, this was when Sophia was just getting out of
okay.
And she was driving Miss Daisy, as part of her punishment.
Okay, all right, yeah. See, no. We talking about it out of timeline. That's why I'm confused. Now, okay, now I remember the scene perfectly. And so I just never thought about it that Mister wasn't there during that.
Yeah, so his wife is there, his son is there. I think even Buster was there. I think Lawrence Fishburne was there, but Mister wasn't there.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. That's an interesting angle I never thought about.
Yeah. So, I mean, for whatever reason, like he went from being that dude where all the kids came and played at his house, to just like a loner, in addition to everything else. I mean, it does seem like, those kids would need some work on the field, and some of them have wives that can do some work in the house.
Yeah, come to think of it, going back to what we said in the beginning, he had money. There There was all those kids that he had that
Mhm.
Cely helped him raise. Harpo had a bunch of kids between everybody and the kids at this point because he's so old.
You're right.
There's plenty of people that would have been able to should have been able to help him.
Mhm.
You know, so it does look like it was some unwarranted, you're a mean, evil man and nobody loves you. And without this one woman that's sticking by you, you're going to be alone and everything around you is just going to suffer and perish. However, they wrote it off the strength of you're just a mean, evil man, and that's that, without fully substantiating that he was in any way just a overall net problematic person to everybody else. Like Cely got slapped 3 times in the movie. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
in the war zone that is in the war zone of a 35-year marriage. I'm not saying that 3 slaps is not a problem, isn't a problem, but
Mhm.
3 slaps happen in the course of in the course of a marriage. I mean, I'm sure with some off-camera slaps, okay, fine, but still, overall, the idea that that nobody that out of that whole lineage of kids at that point, nobody can come work the farm and he'd pay them off the profits off the
Yeah.
farms, land produced money back then. That's where he got his money from.
Mhm.
Everybody was broke back then, so I mean,
Exactly. Yeah.
they wrote it into the plot. Like they should have if they weren't just saying man bad, they would have wrote him in a way to where he was just clearly just a piece of crap to everybody, to the point to where his whole lineage, his whole genetic lineage wanted to cut themselves off from him, not just Harpo. Like you can write in there that, him and Harpo had some problems. Okay, fine. But
Yeah,
there
but
was a lot of,
at least in the movie, he never had they never showed a reason that Harpo would have a problem with him. You know, I mean, Harpo was getting choked up in his own juke joint. And he was like, "Get your hands off my boy!" And then everybody started fighting because black people. And you remember that scene?
mm-hmm,
Yeah. So like, they never really showed why would Harpo have a problem with him. He
yeah.
eventually approved the marriage. Like,
Yeah, they wrote it just off the strength that he's a man and he's bad. He's the bad character. We told you he was bad. Therefore, nobody likes him. But
yeah,
they didn't truly depict it that way.
they didn't think to write a justification. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There it is. Yeah, they didn't write it. Everybody treated him that way. It was depicted that way, but they didn't write a justification, anything that made sense. That's right.
So basically, um, everybody treated him like the audience was supposed to be treating him.
Yeah.
That's what the writer was doing. So here he is alone in the juke joint, and Harpo is counting his money. So Harpo is doing well for himself. He's a interesting character because he has his farm money, whatever the land produces, he gets his cut. Plus he has his home, and everything, and he made a real nice juke joint out of it. He
Mm-hmm.
made a real nice juke joint, and by that I mean a very profitable looking place, profitable looking spot. Like everybody came. He knew he was connected to Suge Avery. I mean, he's an entrepreneur is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
He's a very good entrepreneur. More so than his dad, who also had access to Suge Avery. And perhaps, had he created his own juke joint, it would have been a lure to have her come over more often. But Harpo came up with the idea.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm starting to think that the writers deliberately, or Alice Walker was deliberately making Albert out to have like a just generally unpleasant personality.
Mm-hmm.
Like outside of what's seen, his company just isn't welcome. Opposite to Harpo, to where um, Harpo say, "Hey, I'm having a Christmas party," and everybody come and bring their kids, and and hey, I'm opening up a juke joint, and everybody come, and you know,
Yeah.
and and
And wait, if the logic behind that was, well, Mister used to hit Cely, but technically Harpo used to hit Miss Sophia. I mean, she hit him back,
oh, good point.
but yeah. So I mean,
Yeah, I think it's
both of
just I think it's just a personality thing. I think that Mister, in addition to, he probably just wasn't a people. He probably just one of those people that's not good with men or women. You know.
yeah, but no justification was given. No
Yeah, yeah.
justification.
So in this scene, for whatever reason, he says, and let's not talk about why, why this circumstance has come to pass, but he said, "It sure is good to see the two of you together."
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think he said that? And trust me, I'm like Pops on this. I don't, I like, what is it about that woman? Like, so is Albert and Harpo seeing something in these broads that me and Pops don't see? Like, why is he happy to see that?
The only thing I could think of why he would be happy to see them together is it probably just reminds him of, I guess, what would be simpler times back when things was, stable in his life, and then they had, and him and Harpo and Miss Sophia had their marriage and a thing over there, and for you know, Mr. and Cely had their thing over there, and to him that was stable, and that was functional, and things was
Ah,
functional, and now things are in disarray. So seeing the two of them back together probably just reminds him of that. There's that.
reminds him of when his hand was strong. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And there you go. It reminds him of the times when his pimp hand was strong. There you go.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, I did that slide just for that reason. All right, let's see what's next on the agenda. Okay, so we're coming to a close here. He's happy with himself that he paid the money, did whatever. Money talks, and he got his American-born sister-in-law and his stepkids to America, as well as the missionary uh, preacher. He was able to fund everybody's trip from Africa, which is not an inexpensive venture. He is a man with some bread, you know. Um,
Right.
the plane ticket alone, plus they have to deal with, paperwork, naturalization, because you are bringing black people from Africa, and they don't know if they were born there. That seemed like it's a task given everything. I mean, you have the children who were here for less than a year, but their birth certificate is buried somewhere, if they even have one, because they were literally born in a barn. So
Mhm.
it does seem like a task, and he probably just like greased some palms, some white palms, and like, I get these people over here. Who knows? But so that, in addition to the ticket, not plane ticket, we're talking about those old timey Titanic style boat tickets, you know, from a very far continent. So he
Yeah.
really spent some bread on this,
Mm-hmm.
you
And
know.
so, what would you think his whole reasoning behind doing it? Now we've looked at this through a different lens, taking a different look at him, looking at his whole Marvel origin story, how he got to where he's at, and so we've put him under a different light, like right now looking at him.
Well, I
So
mean,
I think, but real quick, the way the movie wrote it, they would just write it in the sense that everything was in shambles when Cely left,
oh, he's trying to
and
lift the curse.
yeah, that's how I interpret it. That maybe he either trying to lift the curse, or he just realized how he just been so awful to her. This is just a one thing, and he realized what's missing now that she gone, and I was so bad to her. Let me do this one nice thing.
And I agree with that. I think that that's what the writer was going for. I think that the writer was going for, like, you got to show these men your value before they can appreciate you. Meaning that you got to
Mhm.
take authority and punish him like a kid on timeout. And then once, his drawers is dirty and his house is dirty and he's alone and his own damn son turned against him, once you just completely destroyed him, then he'll act right. But I mean, basically, it's just like the women have got to position themselves uh, in power in order to get Albert or get Mister back into Albert mode.
Mhm.
You know, so and that's what this book is. It's an instruction manual on how to turn Mister into Albert. I mean, but in reality, the reason is because he was never that dude. I mean, the way I look at him now that we went in depth on this thing, and by the way, those of you who are new here, hit the like button. Those of you who are new here, he's basically saying this is his origin story. His wife is dead. She was killed by her boyfriend coming home from church. So his last wife was having an affair, not just a one, a pump and dump, a whole boyfriend, a whole killer boyfriend coming
Mhm.
home from church. So that is his history. So basically, he's trying to figure out how to keep a woman, and it took him into some very dark places. So, from the way he was treating Celie, he was like, he felt bad. Like he's like, listen, I don't know what to do. I don't really know what to do to keep you. It really came down to that. And him bringing her the sister back was like, listen, I'm sorry, but what else could I do? Like, there is a chance that you would have left had I not behaved this way.
Yeah.
I mean, he just seemed like a very confused dude. Like that
Yeah.
song DMX, what these bitches want from a nigga. Like, it seemed like he's on that. Like, he's just like, man, I tried, putting the flower on my head and doing the bat. Like, what do y'all want?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. You look at it in a whole new light. You see it differently. You see it differently. And like I said from the beginning, one of the last things I gotta say with this, maybe somebody needed the official people that make the Color Purple movies will not do this, but
Alice Walker is not going to do this.
somebody need to make a Mister a prequel. The Marvel origin story prequel for Mister, so we can see how he had a wife that had a boyfriend.
Where would
And
you
how
take
did
it
you?
from? Would you take it from his upbringing? I like to see more of the pop.
Oh yeah,
So
oh yeah.
I
The
would
pop got to
definitely
be
take it
heavy in the
from
movie.
when he was Harpo's age with the pop there, and yeah,
Uh,
I would love to see that.
yeah, yeah. No, that would be the deal.
Yeah.
I wonder if somebody. I'm trying to think how it works. If somebody made this without getting permission from the person who owned rights to all this.
Well, I think
Uh,
Oprah owns the rights to all this. I mean, the only
uh,
person she could give permission to that would do who would possibly do a decent job is Tyler Perry. And I know how people feel about him. But in the midst of all of his crap, he do come out with some movies like Temptation, Daddy's Girl, Why Did I Get Married? So,
no,
he
I was thinking of a way that it could be done kind of on the slick, where
oh, I see.
it's like you hint, wink, wink. This what it is, but we ain't saying, you
Yeah.
know. But
Like
because I was always
GoBots, like GoBots is the Transformer, something like that.
something like that. Yeah, yeah. I was trying to think of somebody pull it off like that way. That would be the only way it could be done and done right.
Yeah.
Because it won't be officially done right if the same people got their hands on it. Ain't no way in hell.
Zone said, we got to see who deleted the boyfriend. I kind of just pictured the boyfriend. They had a scene where they had a bunch of prison dudes working on the railroad, and dude was mumbling something where he was like, man, man. I thought that was him for whatever reason. I thought that he was working on the railroad, mumbling stuff, and the dudes were like working to his mumblings, like man, oh no, like he was Negro spiritualing on the railroad. That's why I thought he was arrested and he spent the rest of his life at the LeQuint Dickey Mining Corporation. That's what I pictured.
The LeQuint Dickey Mining Corporation would probably have still been in existence during the timeline of this movie.
Oh yeah, I mean you had to learn something,
yeah. So not a far-fetched theory,
Yeah. But yeah, so that's Mr. So now Mr. is understood. We did Mr. Understood.
Yeah.
So it's tragic. It's tragic. I'm glad that I got this different point of view of Mr. out. Because before this video, I know a lot of you, and share the video, just looked at him as like a base villain, like a base villain that just get his rocks off of, smacking the ugliest bitch in the neighborhood or in Hot Wheel County. But it's more complex than that.
Yeah. Might be a good idea the day that the movie drop, probably make a short or something like that. Or, I'm just trying to think of a way to capitalize on the actual movie dropping. Make a shorter format video when Color Purple was heavy in the search engine, and people will click on it and they'll get to hear the thoughts and perspective of Mr. Reimagined or reinterpreted. That'll be one way to possibly get it out there, pushed in the algo. Just a thought.
Okay. Yeah, I can't just let Christmas go by and they try to slip this garbage by me. I'm gonna do whatever I can. I don't have a huge following, but I'm gonna do whatever I can to mass boycott this. But because they're trying to keep the curse going. It's run out of batteries and they're just trying to rejuice it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do what I can, but yeah, this is this movie has to be stopped. So I'm talking to some other people. I want to get as many collaborations on as many of the main characters as I can out on this. So I do look forward to it. What would you like to see? Like, which of the characters are you most interested in seeing next?
Well, we mentioned Squeak, and I ain't gonna say the reason why, but it was something in there you pointed out that made no sense. It was no logical justification for it, and I'm not even going to I'm not going to get into it. I'm going to save it for that. But I'm going to let you save it for you, and I forgot who you talking with on that one. But that was,
in fact, let me see if she emailed me back.
Yeah, that is a very interesting dynamic there with that thing. But I don't know. This one, the dad the dad roasting of Suge Avery kind of got me interested in a deep dive.
And a Suge Avery breakdown
into that one as well.
Well, Suge Avery is definitely going to get a thorough breakdown because she is the protagonist. Oh wait, she did write me back. Let me see. So she is. So yeah. So Bella's on board. And yeah, I just got to come up with a date. But she is the protagonist of this movie. She is what she's a modern woman placed in ancient times. She's obviously corrupting all the women around her, all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And the dynamic with her father is interesting. And and y'all don't notice, but when she did that whole scene, God's trying to tell you something, and it was another young woman in the choir that was younger than Harpo. That was one of Suge Avery's children. That was Suge Avery's daughter. In fact, the whole choir was her daughter because she did set the population of Hot Wheel County. She did set the population of Hotwell County a new high.
Yeah, that's one thing I gotta do. I get off of here. I do gotta watch The Dad again, man. I gotta check that one out.
Yeah, I'm gonna cover that scene again when I talk about Suge Avery, because that scene is pivotal. But no, like I'm gonna cover like her dynamic with her father, and what she did to the father, how her character really affected not only modern Black women, but the modern Black church. I think that's a pivotal thing as well. So definitely going to go in depth on Suge Avery and Sophia. Millie and I are going to do Cely. So that's the main character. But yeah, it's going to be good. So look for a thorough breakdown. I'm trying to get them all done by Christmas.
You should have got Rashida Strober to do Cely with you.
I was gonna get Rashida Strober to do Squeak. In fact, she's like the alternate. She's the alternate if Bella Reeves wasn't gonna do it. But I know how that was gonna go. You can just picture. I mean, I do it for the craziness of it, but having Rashida Strober do the review of the light skinned girl, the only light skinned girl in the movie, and the prettiest one in the movie. Let's face it, that would have been an interesting watch.
Yes, it would have.
Yeah, and I asked
she would have tried to make the case that Harpo should have stayed with Miss Sophia. Never got with Squeak. She would have made that case.
Miss Sophia, the woman who is old enough to be his mother's auntie. Yeah. He said, "Good to see you streaming after all this time." I actually don't stream as much anymore, but yeah, I try to when I have something like this I want to get out. But thanks, Silent Lamont. Appreciate you, bro. But yeah, so I'm gonna close down. Any final thoughts?
Oh no, I'm good. Thanks for having me. This was fun. Definitely fun.
Yeah, I like movie reviews. They don't get as many hits, but they're a lot of fun to me.
Yeah, no, it was a time many moons ago where I don't watch movies like I used to, but I used to watch so many movies and like movies to the point where like I actually thought about this was a long time ago. I thought about starting a movie review YouTube channel. I actually thought about doing that. So I definitely love this. I'm always down to do this.
Okay, most definitely. So yeah, if I need an alternate, I want to match genders. So this would probably be the only one I do with you. But if I might need an alternate, because I had a cancellation. I'll tell you who canceled. So stay tuned. We might have to do one of the chicks.
All right, man.
All right. Well, this is GameChanger 00100. I'd like to thank the Cash Apps and Super Chats, managers and moderators, those who are listening silently, and those participating in the chat. Make sure you hit that like button on your way out. GameChanger 00100. Game over. Peace.